Hey, BBO, how you doing? It's been a long time since I seen you, bro. All right, so I'm gonna do this video fresh, and I'm gonna try to minimize my profanity usage and my vulgar vocabulary. So I gotta start fresh, and I gotta start with a clear state of mind and be very humble. So this video is titled "Dear Ankh and Friends." Everyone don't use science. Everyone don't use Western science approach to science. I'm gonna say again, everybody don't use Western approach to science. All right, so this is for Unc and the Friends. Okay. So recently, Brother Unc put up a post that makes me give him the funny eye. It makes me give him the funny eye. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read the post that he posted up. He said the Dogon couldn't see for one gleaming reason. They didn't have a telescope. This seems to make clear sense to the scientifically literate, but to the pseudo, we are disrespecting Africa, space age Africa. Space age Africa? Really? Space age Africa. Okay, so I have multiple problems with this post for several reasons. For one, this goes to show that he does not seem to get the understanding of anthropology and ethnoscience. Two, of course, they did not have telescope because during that time period, telescopes was not invented in the ancient time. So of course they didn't have telescope to tell it. All right. I have to see somewhere where they said that they saw Sirius B. Okay, if you can show me that, then I can follow through with that. But to sit here and use the term scientifically literate, but to the pseudo, we are disrespecting Africa. So I have to ask a question. Well, how scientifically literate are you? How scientifically literate are you? And what are you trying to indicate? Are you trying to indicate that African people are not scientifically literate? Is that what you indicated? Because if I'm not mistaken, you have said this before. If some way, because I could swear I seen the video. You said somewhere before about African people not being scientifically literate. Or maybe I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, correct me. But what does it mean to be scientifically literate then? Let's look at being scientifically literate. Let's see. Scientifically literate. Okay, let's see, what does it mean to be scientifically literate? Okay, so scientific literacy. Scientific literacy or science literacy encompasses written, numerical, and digital literacy as they pertain to understanding science, its methodology, observation, and theories. Scientific literacy is chiefly concerned with an understanding of the scientific method, units, and methods of measurement, empiricism, and understanding of the statistics, in particular correlation and qualitative and quantitative observation, and graded statistics, as well as a basic understanding of core scientific fields such as physics, chemistry, biology, ecology, geology, and computation. Okay, so now we're looking at this definition here. All right, now we're looking at the definition of scientific literacy versus your definition. So again, what makes one scientifically illiterate? What makes one scientifically illiterate? I would just like to know, because they have cultural differences that's, or the way they practice their ideology, or how they use approach to science. I mean, what makes them scientifically illiterate? So you're telling me that those in the African continent do not have a basic understanding of scientific methods or methodology, observation, and theories because of their cultural practice and how they approach to science? I mean, help me to understand it. Help me to understand. I'm just going to leave this definition up here, okay? Help me to understand what makes somebody scientifically illiterate. Because when I'm reading the definition, I'm reading this definition. I'm reading the definition. What makes someone scientifically illiterate? What makes one scientifically illiterate? That's all I ask. I'm just going to leave that there. And then another person I want to address, I want to address the friend Enoch Jackson. Now, I don't know Enoch Jackson from a can of paint. I don't know if I even had a conversation with him. This name looked familiar. I'm not sure who he is, okay? But I want to read something from the comment section. Okay? So I gave a facial expression, which means that it's very suspect. And Brother gave his facial expression. I said, you might as well throw out Black African power out the window. You might as well. Because what you just said in that statement, that Africans are not scientifically literate. That's how I interpret it. And I put, of course, they didn't have telescope. That doesn't mean they weren't using science or scientific, or they wasn't scientifically literate. Everyone don't follow the Western custom. There's a thing called ethnoscience. There's a thing called ethnoscience. Okay, so everybody don't have the same approach to science. As a matter of fact, let's look at what is ethnoscience. Okay, let's look at what ethnoscience is. Let's get to it. This is quite interesting, baby. This is interesting. Ethnoscience is the study of what Native people know about the world around them, including biology, zoology, and astronomy. This discipline is concerned with the cultural knowledge and classification system in a given society. Again, ethnoscience is the study of what Native people know about the world around them, including biology, zoology, and astronomy. This discipline is concerned with the cultural knowledge and classification system in a given society. That's what ethnoscience is, okay? According to that definition. So again, that's the cultural approach to science. Nobody's saying that science is not science. Nobody's saying that science is not universal, because science is universal. But there is a difference in how people use their scientific knowledge, okay? Like if you study during the ancient time period, right? The Greeks had their own approach to their scientific knowledge. The Romans had their own approach to scientific knowledge. The Muslim, the Arab, if you go into the Golden Age, they had their own scientific approach to knowledge. The Egyptian had their own scientific approach to knowledge. But that doesn't mean that they were not scientifically literate. That did not mean that they were scientifically illiterate. No, it does not mean that at all. It does not mean they were scientifically illiterate or they were retarded or whatever. It just they had a different way of bringing about interpretation and understanding of nature. Okay? I gave this example before. Let's talk about the days of the week. What do you think the days of the week named after? Romans and Greek gods. What do you think the planets, the 7 planets, well, now they say it's 6 planets, but at that time it was 7 planets. Okay, so all these 7 planets that we know, what do you think they were named after? They were named after Romans and Greek gods. Okay, so what you're dealing with is the cultural understanding or cultural interpretation of science. Every culture has that, and they are entitled to that. It does not make them less scientific. It does not mean that they are less scientific because they have a cultural understanding. And I find it very disrespectful and very ignorant for somebody who is not as, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it because I said I was gonna be respectful. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. But I will say this: you're not as scientifically literate as you think. You're not scientifically literate as you think, because you would not make that type of commentary and not have understanding. What we dealing with is anthropology here. Let's look at what is anthropology. As a matter of fact, before I even go there, let's talk about Enoch Jackson for a moment. Again, I don't know this brother from a can of paint. And so he asked me, so how do you think they saw an alien space flight? What? I don't know how these people saw it. I wasn't there. I wasn't there to witness, so I couldn't tell you exactly how they saw it. Okay? And I said, and then he put down ethnoscience. Science is science. Either we know or we don't. Okay, nobody say that science is not science. Nobody say that we have all the answers. Okay? Because we don't. We don't know everything as humans. All right. And as humans, we bound to make mistakes. But then it's very ironic that people use science as a religion, as if science is the end all be all. Science doesn't give you an answer to everything. But let me tell you a little secret. Let me tell y'all a little secret. What you don't know is scientists sit down and have conversation with people who study spirituality. You got scientists that sit down with people who are spiritualists, people who study spirituality. You got scientists who's out here studying what is consciousness. You got scientists that's trying to understand the correlation between quantum physics and consciousness. You got scientists that's out here studying about meditation. You got scientists that's studying about psychedelics, DMT. Because how I know, I put a post every single day that's dealing with scientific research on scientists studying all these different things. And you got scientists, right, that talk to these tribes from various countries and seeing how they understand, how they study things. You got scientists that believe in integrative medicine. You got all type of scientists out there. So if you think scientists just deals with just if they just come from just a radical state of mind and all of that, no. You got scientists who are very spiritual people. I'll give you an example, all right? Let's look at David Bohm and Jiddu Krishnamurti. David Bohm and Jiddu Krishnamurti then had several interviews with each other. And they were talking about spirituality, consciousness, all of these different things. And there's a channel on YouTube. There's a channel on YouTube that I want you guys to watch. It's a legitimized channel. It's a very legitimized channel. Hold on, let me. Ooh. Okay, so let me go ahead and peace, brother Pure. How you doing? Let me show you guys this channel real fast, because this is one of my favorite channels I love to watch. This channel here is called Closer to Truth. Closer to Truth. All right. So this channel is dealing with like all type of philosophical questions about the universe. So they deal with cosmology, they deal with the anthropology of things, they deal with studying about the quantum physics, and they also deal with studying astronomy. They deal with astrophysics. So what you're dealing with is the philosophical approach to things. Okay. So I would recommend you guys to check out that channel. Closer to Truth. That's the name of it. So we gotta understand the origin of science before we know this modern science as we know it today. It came out the school of philosophy. It came out the school of philosophy. Philosophy is the foundation of all knowledge. Let me say it again. Philosophy is the foundation of all knowledge. Why? Because it introduced the knowledge. And epistemology studies the particular knowledge, studies that knowledge in itself. And science brings about the application of knowledge. So let's look at it like this. Philosophy deals with the value of things, whereas science deals with facts. Okay? So science looks for facts. Philosophy deals with the values. So you have to understand things from the philosophical approach, anthropological approach, and ethnoscience approach. If you have that type of open mind, then there will be no dissing and disrespecting. And yes, I'm so adamant about this because I come from those descendant of people, okay? I come from not only the descendant of people here in America, but the descendant of people that came up out of Africa that was brought here to America. And when you say things like that, the scientifically literate, but the rest are pseudo, and you use the term space age Africa, that's disrespectful. Because you're basically implying that African people have no scientifically, they're not scientifically literate. Well, let's talk about the difference between lateral thinking and linear thinking. Let me go there. Let's go to the lateral and linear for a moment. Okay. All right. So let's look at lateral thinking. What does it mean to be a lateral thinker? Now, before I even go there, I want to say this. We're entitled to be philosophical. We're entitled to be philosophical. We're entitled to have our subjectivity. Okay? Let's say that again. We're entitled to be philosophical and we're entitled to have our subjectivity. And you got a thing where there is the proto-science, right? And so just because the information may not be very conclusive does not mean that it doesn't have any form of relevancy. It's just hypothetical. It's put on the table. It's put on the table. So like when people were talking about let me look it up. When folks was talking about the orchestrated objective reduction, so the orchestrated objective reduction was dealing with the concept of the correlation between quantum physics and consciousness, and through studying neuroscience, right? Which came about through okay, so it started with Roger Penrose and Stuart Hammeroff. So Roger Penrose, right, is a physicist, and Stuart Hammeroff is an anesthesiologist and a psychologist. So what they were trying to do is study the correlation between how quantum physics play a role in consciousness. Okay, to this day, it's still hypothetical, but it does not necessarily mean that it's absolutely pseudo. It's just that there's not conclusive evidence or enough evidence to actually prove that, because you still have to go through the ongoing research. So just because something may be considered as pseudo does not necessarily mean that it doesn't have any significance or values to it. It just means that sometimes it's not very conclusive. It lacks in evidence, or it's not enough information to prove it or to validate it. Okay? But I just want to throw that part out there. So let's go to the part about lateral thinking. So lateral thinking is a manner of solving problems using an indirect and creative approach via reasoning that is not immediately obvious. It involves ideas that may not be attainable using only traditional step-by-step logic. Considered pseudoscience by some. The term was used in 1967 by Maltese psychologist Edward de Bono in his book, The Use of Lateral Thinking. De Bono cites the judgment of Solomon as an example of lateral thinking, where King Solomon resolved a dispute over the patronage of a child by calling for the child to be cut in half and making his judgment according to the reaction that this order receives. Edward de Bono also links lateral thinking with humor, arguing it entails a switch over from a familiar pattern to a new, unexpected one. It is this moment of surprise generating laughter and new insight, which facilitates the ability to see a different thought pattern, which initially was not obvious. According to De Bono, lateral thinking deliberately distances itself from the standard perception of creativity as vertical logic, the classic method for problem solving. So, methods. Lateral thinking have to be distinguished from critical thinking. Critical thinking is primarily concerned with judging the true value of statements and seeking errors, whereas lateral thinking focuses more on the movement value of statements and ideas. A person using lateral thinking to move from one known idea to new ideas. Edward de Bono defines 4 types of thinking tools. One is the idea generating tools intended to break current thinking patterns, route patterns, the status quo. Focus tools intend to broaden where to search for new ideas. Harvest tools intended to ensure more value is received from idea generating output. And the fourth one is treatment tools that promotes consideration of real world constraints, resources, and support. Okay. So what I'm saying is that our people are lateral thinkers. All right. We can be both lateral and linear thinkers, but they're very lateral. The reason why, because we tend to use creativity. So by us being very creative, right, we'll try to find creative ways to go about doing things and getting the same results. So in this case, when you're looking at the cultural concept of things, people are lateral. They use creativity to come up with the scientific approach. Okay, that may be different from how they do it in the Western society. All right. So our people, we like to visualize things. We like to use personification to describe things. We like to use anthropomorphism. We like to use anthropomorphism to actually be able to make some sense out of science. So, for example, and give me a second. All right, so for example, all right, I want to shout out to this brother right here. Brother Ace, also he goes by African Creation Energy. Now, in his book, A lot of people swear up and down he was being pseudo, right? Well, if you really understand his books, right? If you read the book, you will see that he used a lot of anthropomorphism and personification and quasi allegories to describe modern science, or help people to understand what modern science is. So it may sound pseudo if you read his books from how he's talking or whatnot, but if you actually fully pay attention, then you will understand what he's doing. He's coming from a scientific approach. So he has to use allegories in order to help his audience to understand science a little bit better, because if he just used just technical terms, right, or speaking technical terminology, people won't get it. It will go over many people's head. So what I'm saying is our people are the type that we like to visualize. We like to be able to bring about interpretation. We like to use spirituality to be able to understand science. It doesn't mean that we don't enjoy science at all, but it's just that is that we like to use interpretation. Okay. So we are people who visualize things. All right. So therefore, that makes us lateral thinkers. Now let's go and talk about linear thinking. Peace to brother Vinyasa. Peace to brother Vinyasa. How you doing? It's been a minute. I ain't seen you. Shout out to you, brother. Peace, 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 peace. Thank you for coming through. Peace to the chat. Thanks for everybody that's coming through the chat. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. All right, so let's look at let's look at linear thinking. Okay, so linear thinking is also known as vertical thinking. Okay, so let's look at what is vertical thinking / linear thinking. Peace to brother Bars and Chains. Thank you for coming through. Shout out to the chat for coming through. Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all coming through. Thank you. All right, so okay, vertical thinking. Now, vertical thinking is a type of approach to problems that usually involves one being selective, analytical, and sequential. It could be said that it is the opposite of lateral thinking. Unlike lateral thinking, that involves using added intuition, risk-taking, and imagination through unconscious and subconscious process. Vertical thinking consists of using more of a conscious approach via rational assessment in order to take in information or make decisions. This type of thinking encourages individuals to employ a sequential approach to solving problem where a creative and multi-directional response are seen as imprudent. Vertical thinkers prefer to rely on external data and facts in order to avoid failure or counterfactual thinking. Okay. So again, and this term came by Edward de Bono. Edward de Bono came up with this term. So this is Edward de Bono right here. All right. So in the book, the concept, he wrote a book called The Lateral Thinking Creativity Step by Step in the year 1970. In the book, the concept of vertical thinking can be seen to have many parallels with that of critical thinking. De Bono explains in his text that the main distinguishing factor between the two concepts is the fact that critical thinking only involves thinking rationally, whereas vertical thinking requires the individual to apply the motives in forming a solution. Okay. So relevancy. Vertical thinking is selection by exclusion. One works within a frame of reference and throws out what is not relevant. With lateral thinking, one realizes that a pattern can not be restructured from within itself, but only as the result of some outside influence. Now, similar to the concept of convergent thinking, the intention of vertical thinking is to derive a single compelling answer to a problem. Vertical thinking is most applicable in scenarios where the answer is already existing and needs to be elucidated through sequential means. In this regard, the answer acquired through vertical thinking is often seen as the most correct when considering the information available to the individual. With regards to the interpretation of De Bono, individuals are not obligated to adhere a single method of thinking, but rather form solution through the synthesis of both. Though different individuals may have varying preferences in terms of the method of thinking applied, a balance of both is generally seen as most suitable when generating a solution for any problem. Okay, so you get that. So you see that terminology. Oh no, it's all good, Vinyasa. I understand. It's all good. It's all good. I haven't been as active as I normally would, um so yeah, I'm slowly for surely getting back being more active on the platform. So you're okay. But you ain't missing out on nothing. But the point is, yeah, so getting back to what I was saying. So that's what vertical thinking is. A person that's vertical thinking is looking for that solution. Okay. And they're gonna follow the detail, the step by step. They're not gonna just go around and try to come up with some type of creativity. They're gonna follow the step as it is to get to that point, to get to where they need to be. Now, where I stand on this position, both lateral thinking and linear thinking is very important. You got to have a combination of both. If you can combine the two together, it will make it more effective. So you have to be able to balance it. I'm a lover of science. I am a lover of science. Don't get me wrong. I love science. I love studying this, that, and the other. One of my favorite subjects is anthropology. I love anthropology. Okay. I love psychology. I love sociology. Yes, those are science. Psychology and sociology are what you call social science. And I guess you could consider anthropology as social science too. But anthropology deals with like the generality of science if you want to get technical about it. Okay. So I don't have a degree in science. Now, I went to school for sociology, but I never obtained a degree in sociology. All right. So that's where I stand. My thing is studying like people's interaction and behavior and cultural, having cultural understanding, etc. That's my whole thing. But for me, I feel like because this is like my alley, this is my lane, and when I hear somebody saying stuff like this, it's like it bothers me because I don't see the same criticism that is given to other cultures out there. I don't see people criticizing the Native American culture in that manner, or the Indian culture, or the Chinese culture. I don't see that. And speaking of that, you have scientists that are very that would use ancient philosophy, right? Especially Chinese philosophy into the scientific arena. So when we looking at acupuncture, right? When we look at the Chinese herb and all of that, they incorporate those things into the scientific field. The yoga and meditation, where you think yoga really come from? Yoga is very it's a practice in India. Okay. So the word yoga means to yoke. So they incorporate these ancient philosophy, these ancient practices into the science. So if you think that scientists don't deal with the ancient practice or doesn't study the ancient culture, then you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Because they do. You got to go into the origin of things and bring it into the light. Everything has its origin, okay? Let me look up. Okay, I'm gonna look that up in a minute, Vinyasa, but let me go ahead and look up anthropology because I gotta look at anthropology first. And then I'm gonna get I'm gonna get to the philosophy of science, but let me get into anthropology because I want to get this down pat. No, wait, but before I go there, let me read something else he wrote. Okay. So Enoch Jackson also wrote, I don't think they saw aliens flying spaceship, but the point I'm trying to make is the downplay on the ethnoscience as if everyone follows the Western standards. Secondly, we are speaking ancient people and tribes, so of course they didn't have telescope to see these things. So this is my response to Enoch Jackson. Okay. And Enoch Jackson said it's not about viewing everything from a Western standpoint, but the scientific method is the same for any era. If they knew about it in any degree before telescopes, then how? Well, I can't really give you the answer today. The first thing you need to do is go talk to the Dogon tribes themselves. And then the only thing I said is, well, there is cultural practices. And at that point, I got frustrated. I said, you know what, never mind. Because what I saw was the ignorance in these comments. And then he put, well, what are the methods that we can prove from these so-called cultural practices? So you see, that's the level of ignorance. That's ignorance in itself. That's somebody that's want to get cocky and arrogant. So at this point, I had to step away because I've been said something out the way to this person. And then that's when I put, and and of course, Unc gave his commentary, but let's go ahead. So I put lateral versus linear. Every culture had their own scientific approach. That doesn't mean they weren't scientifically literate. So again, going back to what I just spoke on about the lateral and linear thinking and their lateral approach to things, etc. Yeah, everybody have their own approach to science, but that doesn't mean that they are scientifically illiterate. And I said, please study anthropology. Okay. And so I'm going back and forth with somebody else. So anyways, Enoch said to me, anthropology has nothing to do with the study of stars or galaxies. So what's your point? I have a master's degree in the natural sciences. I understand that every culture foundation for science is the same. Wait a minute. So you say anthropology has nothing to do with, but then you turn around and say that you understand cultural foundation for science. So therefore, you know that anthropology deals with the cultural practices of humanity, right? You know that anthropology deals with the study of humanity and how humanity deal with the approach of understanding nature and understanding life and understanding all these various subjects, right? But you got a master's degree in natural sciences, like as if what you trying to say? What that's supposed to mean? Then what that's supposed to mean? I mean, what you doing with your degree in natural sciences? What is you doing with your degree in natural science? That's all I want to know. I love it, boy. I love it. I love it. Ooh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so that's it. But yeah. Oh, Vinyas, I like this. I wish I can get you on here. Check this out. Casino use science to prey on humans' emotion. Churches use words to heal those emotions. Just saying, I can't afford to go to either. But you're right about casinos, okay? Because let me tell you why. Casinos use what is called mathematics. All right. So when you play a game of cards, like for example, I like playing cards. Okay. So my favorite game is blackjack and tonk. So when you play the game of tonk or you play the game of blackjacks, right, you're dealing with the mathematics. So the mathematics is dealing with the probability of things. So there is a probability that there is a probability that you might win or you might lose. Okay, so when you play a game of dice, if anybody know about shooting crabs, right? If you know about shooting crabs, silos for my people out there in the streets, my street folks. If I got some street folks up in here, y'all know about shooting crabs and silos, right? That is the most effective way to learn about math is shooting crab and silos. Why? Because you will learn that it's based on probability. Okay, and dominoes. Also dominoes, correct. Yeah, so you're dealing with the probability. You're dealing with probability. Okay? You're dealing with the probability of winning that number. So the whole goal is to have 7-11, right? So when you shoot in the CeeLo, you got to have 7-11 to win. So when you shoot that dice, that number 7 come up, and then when you shoot that dice again, you know what, brother Agoon. Yeah, brother Agoon. I would love to be on your platform. Just reach out to me. You got me on Facebook. Just reach out to me on my inbox and just let me know. And we can have a conversation about that, and we can make the arrangement for what time and what day. So just reach out to me on Facebook. Yeah, but yeah, when you shooting crabs and the whole thing is the 7-11, right? Okay, you might hit that 7. Then the next time when you roll that dice, you might end up getting a 12. All right, you lost right then and there because you ain't got the number. So it's somebody else's turn to shoot that crab. All right, so when they shoot it 7, right, and then they got the 11, then they won. They won that money or whatever. All right, so that's the thing. Life itself, the universe itself is a probability. It's mathematical chances. So there's no absolutism when it comes to life. It's no absolute that you're going to be alive the next day or any second. All right. There's not absolute that you're going to end up pregnant. Or there's not absolute that you're going to wake up the next morning and walk. You know what I'm saying? So it's always some probability. So even statistics, that's why they say numbers don't lie. And that's true. Numbers do not lie because you're dealing with the probability of it. You're dealing with the statistics. You're dealing with chances. So you're not going to get the absolute answer. And that's how we gotta look at it. That's how we gotta deal with that. Yeah, that's how we gotta deal with that. So yes, you're right, brother Vinyasa. I agree with you. You are absolutely correct about casinos. They use mathematics. So they do use science, and the main science they use is mathematics. As a matter of fact, in the hood, we use science all the damn time. We use science and we're not consciously aware of that. We use when we fixing cars and stuff, that's engineering. When we over there making beats and all of that, that's engineering. Okay, when you out there cooking the dope, like for those of you that's been out there selling that stuff, you know what I'm saying. But if you out there, if you have ever sold that stuff, you know what I'm saying, you whipping it and cooking it on the stove and all of that, that's chemistry. So that's basically chemistry. Yeah. So when you on the stove and you making the products, you're using chemistry because you're dealing with organic compounds, right? You're dealing with chemical reaction. Okay. Like I said, when you playing dice, that's a probability. When you building a house or something, or you doing maintenance work, that's mathematics. So in the hood, our folks are using science, technology, engineering, mathematics, but they just don't know. They're not very proficient in it, but they use it all the time. Yeah, they use it all the time. Jesus used to play poker until he found out they crossed his hands, so he told them all to go fish. What a nice little joke right there. The Jesus joke is very funny. That's a funny joke. All right, cool. Cool. So yeah, but let me get into this definition by anthropology, because I don't want to miss this definition. Let's look at the different categories of anthropology. Since anthropology has nothing to do with it, okay, let's look at the different categories. All right, so let's go to the definition of anthropology. Anthropology is the scientific study of humanity concerned with human behavior, human biology, cultures, societies, and linguistics. Let me go back again, but Enoch Jackson just told me in the comment section. Enoch Jackson told me in the comment section that anthropology has nothing to do with what the whole thing about the Dogon tribe and their interpretation of the Series B stars and all of that. He said it has nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with studying about the galaxy and whatnot. But just in this definition alone, it says anthropology is a scientific study of humanity concerned with human behavior, human biology, cultures, societies, and linguistics in both the present and past, including past human species. Okay. And then it goes into the different category. Wait a minute. It says social anthropology, which deals with the studies patterns of behavior. And then you got cultural anthropology, you got the social cultural anthropology, you got linguistic anthropology, and then you got the biological or physical anthropology, and then you got the archaeological anthropology. All right, so let's go into the social anthropology, because see, let's break down the different categories of this. So social anthropology is a study of patterns of behavior in human society and cultures. It is the dominant constitute of anthropology throughout the United Kingdom and Commonwealth and much of Europe, where it is distinguished from cultural anthropology. In the United States, social anthropology is commonly subsumed within cultural anthropology and or social cultural anthropology. Okay, hold on. So is that not what we dealing with when we talk about the Dogon tribes? Okay. So we're not dealing with the so we're not dealing with social anthropology, right? Okay, let's look at cultural anthropology then. Let's see what we get out of it. So cultural anthropology is a branch of anthropology focuses on the study of cultural variation among humans. It is in contrast to social anthropology, which perceives cultural variation as a subset of a posite anthropological constant. The Promato term social-cultural anthropology includes both cultural and social anthropology tradition. Wait a minute. Anthropologists have pointed out that through culture, people can adapt to their environment in a non-genetic ways. So people living in different environments will often have different cultures. Much of anthropological theory has originated in an appreciation of and interest in the tension between the local particular cultures and the global, a universal human nature, or the web of connection between people in distinct places / circumstances. Wait a minute. Cultural anthropology has a rich methodology, including participant observation. Wait a minute, participant observation, often called field work because it requires the anthropologist spending the extended period of time at the research location, interviews, and survey. But we don't deal with, we don't deal with cultural anthropology, right? We don't deal with cultural anthropology here. Okay, so, but anthropology has nothing to do with what we were talking about, the Dogon tribes and all of that. Okay, I see. I get it. I see. So let's look at social cultural anthropology then. So social cultural anthropology is a portmanteau used to refer to social anthropology and cultural anthropology together. It is one of the four main branches of anthropology. Socio-cultural anthropologists focus on the study of society and culture while often interested in cultural diversity and universalism. Methodologies used in socio-cultural anthropologists recognize a change in the nature and methodologies used in socio-cultural anthropology as a previous centralization on traditional tribal perspective has shifted to a contemporary understanding. Globalization has contributed to the changing influence of the state on individuals and their interaction. But again, we're not dealing with anthropology here. Okay. Okie dokie. But we don't deal with anthropology, right? So that's not anthropology to deal with study about the Dogon tribes and their own interpretation and their cultural practice and their scientific approach to understanding nature, right? That's not anthropology. That's not social anthropology. That's not cultural anthropology, or that's not socio-cultural anthropology at all. So this is what Enoch Jackson is telling me. So let me go back to his comment section again. Let me go back to Enoch Jackson comment section. What Enoch Jackson said to me, he said anthropology has nothing to do with the study of stars of the galaxy. So what's your point? Well, I just gave you my point. I don't think you was paying attention when I was telling you in the comment section about ethnoscience. I don't think you was paying attention when I was pointing out that the cultural approach to scientific methodology. I don't think you was paying attention. That was my point. But you weren't paying attention. You was too busy looking to try to use a straw man or something. That's what you was trying to do, Enoch Jackson. So, all right. So let's go into the philosophy of science. Now that I finally got that part out the way. Okay, so let's go into the definition of it. All right, so philosophy of science. Philosophy of science is a branch of philosophy concerned with the foundation, methods, and implication of science. The central question of this study concerns what qualifies as science, the reliability of scientific theories, and the ultimate purpose of science. This discipline overlaps with metaphysics, ontology, and epistemology, for example. So, metaphysics deals with studying beyond the physical things, right? Which is a branch of philosophy. Okay, and ontology, which is the branch of metaphysics, studies the state of being, right? Okay, and epistemology is studying of the knowledge in itself, whereas axiology deals with the value of something or the value of a person. Okay, so the nature of value is axiology. The epistemology is dealing with the study of knowledge. And the ontology is dealing with the state of being, and metaphysics deals with going beyond the physical things and understand things from the abstract point of view, or dealing with the abstract perspective of the physical thing. Okay. All right. So again, anyways, let's go down. For example, when it explores the relationship between science and truth, philosophy of science focuses on metaphysical, epistemic, and semantic aspects of science. Ethical issues such as bioethics and scientific misconduct are often considered ethics or science studies rather than philosophy of science. Okay, so check this out. It says there is no consensus amongst philosophers about many of the central problems concerned with the philosophy of science, including whether science can be revealed the truth about unobservable things and whether scientific reasoning can be justified at all. In addition to these general questions about science as a whole, philosophers of science consider problems that apply to particular sciences such as biology or physics. Some philosophers of science also use contemporary results in science to reach conclusion about philosophy in itself. Okay. All right. So let's go down to the introduction, defining science. Distinguishing between science and non-science is referred to as demarcation problem. For example, should psychoanalysts, creation science, and historical materialism be considered pseudosciences? Karl Popper called this the central question in the philosophy of science. However, no unified account of the problem has one accepted among philosophers, and some regard the problems as unsolvable or uninteresting. Martin Gardner has argued for the use of a Potter-Stewart standard. I know it when I see it for recognizing pseudoscience. Okay. And then it says early attempts by the logical positivists grounded science in observation, while non-science was non-observational and hence meaningless. Popper argued that the central property of science is falsibility. That is, every genuinely scientific claim is capable of being proven false, at least in principles. Okay. An area of study or speculation that masquerades as science in an attempt to claim a legitimacy that it would not be otherwise be able to achieve is referred to as a pseudoscience, French science, though oftentimes a French science become mainstream, even develop into a paradigm shift or junk science. Physicist Richard Feynman coined the term cargo cult science for cases in which researchers believe they are doing science because their activities have the outward appearance of it, but actually lack the kind of utter honesty that allows their result to be rigorously evaluated. All right. So right here, when we deal with the philosophy of science, you looking at, well, what is considered as scientific? What is considered as being scientific, and what is considered as being non-scientific, right? So even with scientists, they don't always have agreement amongst themselves about certain things. So some scientists may disagree with this scientist. They may think, oh, that right there is pseudo. And this scientist say, no, it may not be pseudo. We don't even know. Okay. So even with that, there's not always an answer in science. Okay. There's not always an answer in science. What's up with all this shit in my chat? But anyhow, there's not always an answer to science. So there's not always an absolute. You're not going to get an absolute answer to everything. Okay. The only thing you can do is find the facts. That's what you can do. All right. But who are you to tell somebody how they should go about dealing with their approach to dealing with science? Who are you to say that they cannot be philosophical in their thinking? Who are you to say that they are not able to go about using a different type of cultural approach to understand scientific methodology? Who are you to say that? Everybody don't have to comply with the Western way of dealing with science, especially if they don't live in a Western culture. Everybody don't have to do that. Everybody don't follow that type of methodology. Okay? So only thing you can do is, if you have a issue with regard to the Dogon tribe and how they view the stars or whatnot, you have to be able to show evidence and proof that what they're saying is wrong or is inconclusive or they don't know what they're talking about. Oh, Chef Run, thank you for coming through. What's up, Chef Run? What's up? What's up? Oh, hold on. What's the head shaking? Hold on. Chef Run, what you shaking your head for, bruh? What's up, bruh? What's up? What's up? We got a pseudo killer in the chat. What's up, bruh? What's up? Would you like to come on in and talk to me? If so, please do so. Let me know. I will put the link in the chat for you, beloved. If you like to come on in and talk. If you like to come on in and talk. Brother Sheffrin, if you like to come on in and talk, come on, bro. Come on, brother Sheffrin. Come on. Now, come on, sweetie. Come on, you in my chat. What's up? You want to talk? I will send you the link, brother, and I want you to come on in and talk to me. We can talk like civilized adults. Okay? Okay. All right, come on. Come on, beloved. Don't worry, I won't bite you. I'm a good person. I'm a good person, brother Sheffrin. I won't bite you. I won't. I'm not a snake, okay? You ain't got to worry about that, okay? I'm going to be very respectful to you. All right, so I hope you guys got the chat. So just come on in, just click on the link, and we can have a conversation. Okay, we'll have this conversation as adults. All right, we ain't gonna be chauvinists. We ain't gonna be a man bashing woman, woman bashing man. We ain't gonna do none of that. Okay, we gonna be very nice. All right, we gonna just have an agree to disagreement. So while brother Sheffrin is coming on here, get himself prepared, whatever. I think I don't know if okay, I did put the link in there. Okay, cool. All right. So hopefully the link works. So if he wants to come on here, I'll be more than welcome. You know, he's shaking his head at me. So I wonder what he's shaking his head for. I don't know. But come on in. All right. So while I'm waiting on brother Sheffrin to come on in, yeah, that's the whole thing I'm trying to get at. What I'm saying is we have to realize that everybody don't approach the scientific knowledge the same way. Okay, we have people that are lateral thinker and we have people that are linear thinkers. So just because we have is he here? Hello, how you doing, sir? How you doing? Nice to meet you. I'm Tiffany. Nice meeting you.
How you doing, Tiffany?
I'm doing fine. Nice meeting you. So what's up? You shaking your head at me. What's going on? And I see we got somebody else in here, but hold on. Somebody else wanted to come in, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna talk to you first, then I'm gonna bring them on. But go ahead, brother.
Okay. Hold on. Let me see. I'm not really.
Okay. So I'm gonna wait for him to come back. Kent, I see you in there, so I'm gonna I got you, Kent. I'm just waiting on brother Sheffrin to come back in. Okay. So you back? Everything good on your end?
For some reason, StreamYard is low on my iPad. And I want it to be louder. Let me get my headphones.
Okay, cool.
Go ahead. You can keep talking.
Okay,
I'm just gonna get my headphones.
Okay. All right, so I'm waiting on the brother to get his headphones or whatnot. But yeah, it's pretty much what I have to say. Yeah, that's pretty much where I stand on that. So we just got to be able to understand cultural differences. That's all. We got to be able to understand the anthropologies, and we have to understand the ethnoscience to things, and that's all I'm saying. So okay, I see Ankh is here, so I'm gonna talk to the brother Sheffrin first, and then I'm gonna get you guys on here.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, cool.
Yeah, let me go ahead and put myself on mute, and I'm gonna let you talk.
Oh no, I thought we was gonna have a conversation.
No, I just because I want to hear. I want to know why you were shaking your head.
Because you were saying you don't have to use the Western approach to science. So the question was that I was asking, like, what is the other approach to science? And I don't believe it's the Western approach to science. I think the world has adopted a consensus of the scientific method. So whether you are in Africa, Asia, or it's a world standard, right? To be able to get empirical data, because we're all human beings. So it doesn't matter where you're at on the planet, what culture you belong to, right? It should be a way that all human beings, independent of their culture, race, or anything else, can be able to empirically test and verify data. That's science. It's not looking at it through now your philosophy can be cultural. You dig what I'm saying? But your science is a universal language, right? That all human beings is a way for all human beings to be able to test and verify empirical data. Meaning, if me and you both are boiling water, we need to come to a consensus of what temperature water starts to boil at. So your cultural worldview or anything else don't have nothing to do with that, right? It doesn't. What temperature does water freeze at? I don't care if you are Chinese and speak Mandarin, if you East African and speak Swahili, water should freeze at the same temperature. Your cultural worldview and anything else that's cultural should have nothing to do with it. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Okay, now ask that question again. The last question you just asked me.
I said to basically to achieve empirical data, right? Your cultural worldview should have nothing to do with that. Do you agree or disagree?
I mean, I slightly disagree. Let me explain why I slightly disagree. Because you can use your cultural approach, right? But you can still come up with the same answer. What I mean by that, okay, let's say like if you speaking a language, let's say if I speak German, you speak French, right? Mm-hmm. If we both speaking, if you're speaking French, right, and I'm speaking German, but we're both saying the same thing, we coming up with the same answer. So that's where I'm at with the whole cultural concept of things. Like I agree with you. You're right. Science is universal. I would not deny that. I would not take that away. Science is very universal. Yes.
So we're on the same page.
Yes, science is universal. However, but people do have an approach of how they go about dealing with science. So as far as methodology is concerned, everybody don't follow the same methodology in every culture. Okay, so just because we follow one methodology here doesn't mean that they're going to follow that methodology there, but that doesn't mean they're scientifically illiterate because they have their own scientific their own methodology they follow or their own principle they follow to understand science. Mm-hmm. So we have to look at the anthropology of things. So that's where the anthropology comes in, because how do they go about dealing with understanding nature? So we might understand nature from one point of view over here, but their understanding of nature is different over there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no.
Hold on. Let me finish. And I'm gonna let you say something. So that's what goes back to the concept about the lateral thinking and linear thinking. So I believe that we have to use both lateral and linear thinking because it will balance it out. So you may be a linear thinker and you come up with an answer, but you got somebody over here who's a lateral thinker and they come up with the same answer. Do you understand what I'm saying? Are you following me?
No, you just lost me.
Okay. I tried to. I'm sorry. I tried to explain. I tried to explain.
I mean, as long as you understand, like, long as you understand, because you lost me with that one. Okay. I mean, I don't want to keep repeating the same thing. I mean, because we essentially agree. You know that add-on that you did to it. I don't think we need that, right? At the point that you agree, the point that you said, although, right? Everything after your although is irrelevant.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And the reason why I say that is because we have to have a way for us to be able to test and verify empirical data, independent of your perspective or your cultural worldview. That your perspective and your cultural worldview comes with what you call a bias already built in. So science has to divorce you of your bias, right? You don't agree?
Okay, wait. Let me ask you something. Do you think those that's in science can be biased too? You don't think there's the
human being, science? Yes, the scientists can be biased, right? Because that's the person. But the methodology, right, and the scientific method alleviates the bias. See, you got to get what I'm saying.
Okay, I get that,
when we do math, right? I don't care if you are from Kenya or you from Egypt, right? Or you from Turkey. Once we put 1 plus 1 on the page and put the equal sign, no matter where you come, I don't care what your perspective is. It should still equal out the 2. You should not have a different answer because of your cultural worldview or your perspective. I can tell by the look on your face, you get exactly what I'm saying, so we can move on.
That's what I was trying to say, but you said you didn't get what I was saying. So
no, because you said, hold on, Tiffany, because you said although, and then everything after the although, you start talking about perspective and a person's culture and their way of no, science don't do that. It's just like math. Like me and you, if I'm in school, whether you can have a room full of students, 1 can be Asian, 2 could be African American, 6 of them can be white, right? It could be 3 Catholics, 2 Muslims, and 4 Jehovah's Witnesses, right? Once the teacher put the equation on the board, they should all get the same answer. The Catholic can't say because my worldview makes me look at this equation differently, so I'm going to answer it differently. No, it's only one way you can work out that problem.
Okay, wait. Let me ask you something. Hold on, and I don't mean to cut you off. Okay, now you familiar with algebra, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, or let's not even use algebra. Let's say multiplication. Do you think everybody deal with multiplication the same way? Because there's different methodology. There's different ways of dealing with multiplication.
No, but it's all factoring. I'm glad you used that, because no matter what, multiplication, you're still just factoring. At its base level, you're factoring. Now, go give me an algebra joint, and we can go through that. Math is universal. There's no way to get around that. There's no way to get around that.
Absolutely, math is universal. I agree with you. Absolutely, math is very universal. Math is very universal.
Right. So multiplication. You can do. You can do different ways to get to it, but it's still going to be factoring at the end of the day.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. I got you. On that. Let me bring Brother Kent on here.
Okay.
Brother Kent want to come on here. All right, Brother Kent, are you there?
Yeah, peace, sis. What's going on?
Nothing much. How you doing? What's up? What's going on?
I'm good, man. Yeah, I was just trying to figure out what the disagreement was. You said everyone doesn't use Western approach to science.
Because what I'm saying is, we have this misunderstanding that because everybody don't use the type of approach that we use over here in the Western world, that they're not scientifically literate. And it's not true. That's not the case. You know what I'm saying? It's just they have their own interpretation or their own understanding of, science, or dealing with nature, or dealing with astronomy, or whatever the case may be, whatever the subject field of science they dealing with. So that doesn't mean that they are less scientific or they don't have any scientific literacy or anything like that. It's just you're dealing with a different culture and how they how they go about dealing with different methodologies. So everybody may not use the same scientific approach.
Okay, my question is, what gives you the impression that we feel like people don't have the right approach to science, or what gave you that idea, or what made you feel that way?
Okay, so going back to the post that Brother posted up about the Dogon tribes.
Okay.
And
now it makes more sense. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and where he was saying something about the scientifically literate people get this, but the pseudos want to say that you disrespecting Africa, and he put space age Africa, and I looked at that and I said, oh, whoa, damn, that's disrespectful. right there in itself, because that's like basically saying that African people, well, you basically saying that African people are not scientifically literate people. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't deal with the
Nah,
science the
it
way
You
you.
read that wrong. You read
yeah,
that
it
wrong.
wasn't a play on the intelligence of African people because all humans have intelligence and can actually, if given the proper training and understanding and education, we can all do the same thing. We all humans, right? He wasn't
Yeah,
saying
you
that
right. We
just
all are
because
humans.
right. So he
It,
wasn't saying that just because they're Africans that they was less intelligent. It's just they wasn't where we're at now. You know what I'm saying? The
but
Dogon aren't the Dogon back then weren't where we're at now when it comes to understanding things like the Big Bang, so on and so forth.
okay, okay, because remember they using ancient knowledge. They are ancient tribes, so of
Right.
course they didn't use telescopes to look
Of
in the
course.
stars and
Of course.
all of
And we don't
that.
and we don't knock and we don't knock them for that. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to like say, oh, they was dumb because they didn't have that. We're just saying that the people that are trying to give them that are trying to like say like, oh, they knew about this and that and the third. We just saying like, slow your roll. Don't you ain't got to reach. We're gonna give them credit for what they did know, but don't you there's no reason to lie and try to, give them more than what they had. You know what I'm saying? Let's appreciate them for what they did do. But when you get into the thing where you try to say, oh, like, yo, they knew about a star that can't even be seen by the human eye, like you trying to give them superpowers now, and that's what we don't condone. We want to keep this shit all the way real. You feel me?
Okay, I feel you on that. I'm not saying that they got any superpower or none of
Not you personally.
that.
I'm just saying,
So,
that's where the conversation kind of stemmed from.
so
With
let me
you
ask
know,
you this, Miss Stephanie.
Go
Do
ahead.
you believe that the Dogon actually was able to see the star Sirius B?
To be
That's the
honest with you,
claim. That's the claim.
well, to be honest with you, I don't actually know because I wasn't with the Dogon people, so I couldn't tell you if they actually saw it. The best way to get the answer is to
Or
talk
knew
to those
about it.
people themselves.
No, or let me stop saying saw. That they knew about the star Sirius B, right? Or that they knew that Sirius was a binary star system, meaning two stars that orbit each other and is locked in a perpetual orbit because of their gravitational pull. Are we saying that these people that live in northern Ghana, that's a rural tribe, actually knew this? Like that's like if they did, if y'all saying, or if y'all going saying that they were scientific and they knew that, right? Because a white man said they knew it. See, in one situation we say white people are liars, right? Now, when white people lie on black people and discredit them, right, we tear the white people down. Well, the white man lied on the Dogon and gave them more credit than they actually had. So, I mean, so again, if the white man is a liar, call him a liar all the way. Don't just call him a liar when he discrediting you, right? You got to play. If he's a liar, he's a liar. If he's lying about you not being able to accomplish something, then he might be lying about you actually accomplishing something too. Because the white
because
man is the liar.
because that claim will also put him on a pedestal to where he's the one that brought forth this information that the
Right,
Dogon saw this. So now he's the one that's mentioned throughout history as the one
right,
that talked to the people that understood something that the average human couldn't see.
right. So the white man put himself on a pedestal, right, by saying that about the Dogon. And
Okay, so obviously you have to say that the white man does say that versus the Dogon because we have no proof that the Dogon people
Facts.
actually said that out their
That's
own
big
mouth.
exactly.
facts.
Now
That's
So
you
big
on the
facts.
same
therefore,
page
that
with
means
us.
that you have to go after the white man.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But see,
Exactly.
that's our problem, Tiffany, because we not going after the white man because there's now I ain't gonna say we're going after the white man, pseudo killers, we going after the white man, we going after the white man, but they got other people that's trying to use him as a ladder to say that or a stepping stone to say like, okay, he found this out and we can back him up on that. We can defend this white man for what he brought forth, this claim that he brought forth. If that make any sense, I don't know if I.
No, that ain't make sense.
That ain't make no damn sense.
He trying to say
Go
that
ahead.
it's black people that's going along with the pseudo claims that the white man made because they want Africans to get the credit for discovering something in ancient times that modern science has just been able to discover with modern equipment.
We don't know exactly everything that the Dogons have discovered, okay? So we don't know. It could be a possibility. We don't know exactly.
No,
you know
no
what I'm saying?
We know that.
We don't know exactly everything. Just like we don't know exactly about the Big Bang. We don't know if the Big Bang was the main reason why the universe came into existence. There could have been something else before the Big Bang. We don't really know.
No, but they don't claim to know what happened before the Big Bang. They only claim to know up to what we have evidence for.
Mm-hmm. Meaning the observable universe. The observable universe is proof of the Big Bang. Now, anything that happened before the Big Bang is not observable.
It's a hypothesis.
But the observable universe, right, is proof of the Big Bang.
Okay, so now you're going by what you observe, what you can see, but you don't. But other than that, you don't know anything else prior to that.
With tools, because we can't. This ain't things that we can see with our own senses. These are things that we use tools to see. You know, cosmic background radiation. We can't see that with our own senses. We see that through tools.
Okay, so based on the tools, you're only going by what you're able to see. You know, based on what you see. So you're going by what you see, but you don't know or what occurred, but you don't know what has been there before that. So you don't know, because you wasn't around long enough to know what was there before the Big Bang.
Yeah, so and science don't claim to. See, you see what I'm saying? Science have limits to it. Science say what it doesn't know. Religion is the thing that says what it doesn't know, right? Religion talks about things that it doesn't know. But science only states what it knows. And then what it don't know, it don't have. Now, they can give hypothesis and guess, but they don't say that shit is the truth, right? They say it's a hypothesis, right? It's theorized, but we don't know. But religion says that they know what happened before creation. Or, I mean, religion used the word creation. Religion says they know what happened before the universe came into being. They say that. Science don't.
Okay, well, we know that religion is based on mythology and they don't have all the answers. So we know that. I mean, that's.
But they claim they do.
Okay, yeah, you got those that do claim it, but then you got the ones who are in the religion, who are practicing religion, that could say that we don't really know. Even though they may believe in something, whether they might be the Abrahamic religion or not, they'll tell you we don't know. Excuse me. We don't know exactly what took place with this universe. We don't even have an absolute answer. So,
right, they'll say that. They'll say that, but at the same time, they'll say, "Oh, evolution ain't real," because then that kind of fucks up their idea about God creating Adam and Eve and all of that shit. Or they'll say the Big Bang ain't real because then that kind of takes away from what God did in the Bible and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
you got some people that's non-religion, that's not even in religious practice, and they don't believe in the Big Bang theory and they don't believe in evolution.
Yeah. But it's nothing to believe in. It's like you can go and look up the evidence and the research behind it, and most people ain't gonna do that. But you can, it's like, ain't hiding it from us. You know what I'm saying? It's in books, it's in, journals. It's not nothing that we can't go and goddamn and find. You feel me? So it's like we do ourselves a disservice sometimes by not just even going and looking up the damn answers. The cheat sheet right there. You know what I mean?
We know evolution is there. I mean, because we are the evolution. I mean, you see it's right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can see it in viruses. You can see it right now today. You can see it in the flu virus. We get a different shot every year. Why? Because the flu virus, you know what I'm saying, it evolves.
Yeah, it mutates
at a rapid pace. Right. Mm-hmm. So, and that's a microcosm of what we doing as humans. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so on and so forth. But it is there. But for people to say like, oh, that evolution shit is bullshit, or it only works for the microcosm, but it don't work when it comes to humans, you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. But if they don't go in and further their education and go and look into it, then what can you say to them people at that time?
Well, at that time, as far as evolution is concerned.
Yeah, as far as evolution is concerned, or even as far as like if we talking about, you know, Big Bang and all of that, you know, like I said, the answers is there, man. It's
I
not.
mean, even okay. Let's talk about ancient Egypt because a lot of people like ancient Egypt. Let's talk about it. Ancient Egypt had their own way of studying evolution. Okay, they studied evolution through the little bug. What's the name of the bug? It started with a K.
Capora.
Copera. Yeah, the copera represents evolution. Right. So with that being said, they understood, but the way they dealt with evolution is not how we deal with evolution of today. They dealt with evolution by using symbolism and going back to what I was stating previously earlier that we tend to be we are very lateral thinkers, and by us being lateral thinkers, we like to visualize things. We like to use symbolism. We like to use anthropomorphism and personification to give to describe the yeah, we like to use anthropomorphism and personification to describe the world around us, to describe the nature, to describe evolution, and that itself is like the sign of personification. Ooh, what the heck? Hold
I
on.
think Unc was trying to come in.
Okay, hold on. Y'all give me a second. My screen had froze up on me. Y'all give me a second.
I think Unc was trying to come in.
I'm finna bring them on here. I'm finna bring them on.
There you go.
Okay. Unc, are you there? Somebody else on here? Unc, are you there?
You say pseudo killer, so that might be a surprise. That might be
that might be Corey.
Let me see.
Oh yeah, that's Corey.
2 people. That's Corey.
Okay, that's 2 people.
Okay.
Okay, then. All right. Well, I'm gonna bring that other person back on. Okay, go ahead. Yeah. So that's basically what I was saying. Yeah, like the anthropomorphism and the personification.
Anthropomorphism.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, anthropomorphism. You can tell I'm kind of tired, but
so basically, you're saying the Egyptians knew about evolution. Is that what you're trying to say?
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm basically saying. Yeah, they knew about evolution. They just didn't describe it in the way that we describe it today in modern times period. But they had their own understanding of evolution. Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna let brother say something.
Why you keep me in there for 25 minutes, yo?
Because I want to be able to give these. Hold on. I ain't got to bring you on here. I mean,
you're right. I ain't got to be on this motherfucker. You
okay? Say no more.
Hold on. What happened?
Because I was talking to Brother Shefferin. Hold on. I was talking to Brother Shefferin. Brother Shefferin was shaking his head.
Quiet, though. He was quiet though, too.
Yeah, he was shaking his head in the comment section. So that's why I wanted to talk to him first to find out why was he shaking his head.
I know, but
and then,
I know to be quiet though. But I know to be quiet.
Brother Kent came on here. He wanted to say something, and so I wanted to be able to give everybody a chance to speak. That's why I didn't put you on right away.
But I know to be quiet though, and let everybody.
Okay, brother, is there anything you would like to say?
That's some bullshit. You ain't even read.
Okay.
That's what I like to say, Tiff.
Okay, that's all you got to say.
Loud. No, read it loud. Read it right now for everybody.
Read what? No,
read the post. Read the post.
No. I want to hear, what do you have to say first? I want you to say something before I read the post. Do you have anything to add on? Do you want to say anything? Do you got anything to add on into this comment? into this conversation.
The conversation was based off the post, though, Tiff.
Yes. Okay. So I want to hear you. I want to hear what you have to say before I read the post.
I mean, that's kind of ass backwards, Tiff. Read the post, and I can discuss what I meant. Because the whole thing is about the post. Goodness.
I'm sorry?
I said the whole conversation, why you went live, was because of the post. So the listening audience should at least hear what I said.
Okay, then well, you go ahead. How about you read the post? How about you go on there and read your own post?
I can't go in there and read it because if I because this StreamYard.
Okay, then well, I'll tell you what. I'll hold on.
I'll read it. I'll read it.
Okay, go ahead, Brother Sheffrin.
What was it? Uncle Cat. Wes. Yeah, I'm changing that name too. We're gonna get a Bobby that frame.
Bobby.
Yeah, okay. Bobby West, yo. Bobby
Banging
West.
Bobby.
Yeah, Banging Bobby.
Okay. Banging Bobby. Yeah. My man Banging Bobby.
Oh, wow. You want to get up out of frame. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, my body, that nonsense. Bunch of nonsense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can read the comments underneath of it. Just go ahead, Chef.
Right,
read it.
Okay, so being African
5 hours ago. 5 hours ago. This is from my man Banging Bobby on his Facebook. It says the Dogon couldn't see Sirius B for one gleaming reason. They didn't have a telescope. This seems to make clear sense to the scientifically literate, but to the pseudo, we are disrespecting Africa. Hashtag Space Age African.
Okay, so brother, I would like for you to expound or explain, the whole thing. I just want you to explain, just you.
Yeah, if you read the post and everybody's comment, you prove it proves my point that those who don't understand science will swear that I'm banging on the Dogon. I'm absolutely not. I'm simply trying to let the people know that there's a reason why they couldn't see it, and don't get tricked by these fake cult leaders. Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine, Malachi York, they all use the Dogon to fake you out, pull on your heartstrings, and to make you think that those ancient people had something more than what they had, and that you can get back to that science. It's a trick to put you in a cult, to control your emotions and your religious mind. So at no point am I banging on the Dogon. I respect the Dogon for what they did. They only knew what they knew. And there's crazy white people and banana black people following that nonsense. But if you was to talk to the Dogon yourself, they don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
So it's my job, right? The pseudo killer's job is to teach scientific literacy. I heard what you said, Tiff. Cultural practices and cult has nothing to do with the temperature. What temperature does water boil at? It's a fact that's the same everywhere. It's not one of those things where your culture can affect the temperature of boiling water.
I didn't.
Right? I'm just saying, so people say that, well, evolution, we can look at, if you was to change all the words in the taxon system, okay, it would still end up that whatever the hell you're going to call a chimpanzee would still be 99% similar to human beings, no matter what you decided to call it. The people actually use these tactics to get out of the fact that they don't understand evolution, or that they don't understand tools needed to look at a white dwarf star. So it's not a knock to them. So if I say the Dogon didn't have a Porsche, how's that disrespecting the Dogon?
Okay, see now, but the way you came off, you saying about the scientifically literate people understand this, but the pseudo
don't. Right, and read the post underneath that. Niggas is arguing like because they don't understand it.
Let me ask you something, brother. What makes you more scientifically literate than the next man, than the next brother?
It's not more. It's just I understand scientific. I'm not more nothing. This is something that I decided to give the community so that a nigga can't trick you no more. So so people who have been actually following me and people that follow the pseudo killers, right? Then you can't trick them no more. You can't trick them no more. No matter what you say, you can't throw out the word, oh, you ain't installed, oh, you not you don't got the what they say now, you're not in the sacred systems. That don't mean nothing no more. It's out the window.
So okay, what do you mean? What's wrong with so when you talk about sacred system, what sacred system are we speaking of?
It don't matter. That's a trick, because all systems are sacred to each clan and each tribe. So the fact that I don't know your sacred system, or the fact that I'm not in the what they saying, Kent, you got to get initiated. The fact that I'm not
Initiated.
initiated,
Initiating to
nothing
what?
do.
What we're talking about? Initiate to
And,
what
and
culture?
If so they say you need to be initiated into the Dogon system to understand what they was talking about. No, all I need is a damn telescope. I got one. I don't need to be initiated. I don't need to know nothing about African cultures to realize that the understanding of a white dwarf comes from having a telescope, not from having a particular culture. But see, people don't get that. They
So
want to muddy
okay,
up the waters
let
and
me ask
fake
you a
you out.
question. Let me ask you this. And I'm with you. I believe in science. Science is very important. Yes, I'm all for science. But don't you think that culture is also important as well?
Absolutely, culture is very important.
Mm.
nothing wrong with celebrating culture.
It speaks to who a people is.
Right.
It
Okay.
absolutely is, and forming religious cosmology was also important. Ain't nobody making them no cosmology no more, Tiff. So think about it. It's not important no more. Don't nobody do it. Think about like when the Palestinians don't come up with a new cosmology story no more. Them days is gone, because now we got science, and that's the way you handle that. No one's
Okay,
doing
so are we entitled to be both linear and lateral thinkers?
it. I don't even understand that.
You don't understand what linear
no.
and lateral thinking is?
But hold on, ain't nothing wrong with not understanding that. Just explain it to us, sis. What that mean?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm glad that you guys asked. I'm glad. So let's look at the term lateral thinking. Let's look at the term lateral thinking. I'm about to post it up, so I hope you guys can
That's one thing we never claim to be the smartest niggas in the world, yo. Like
Yeah,
it's things that we know and it's things that we don't know. Like if you know something, and shit, by all means.
Right, Tiff. I ain't the smart. I'm not more scientific than who. Hell, I can barely read some damn time, depending on how I'm feeling.
Okay.
Yeah, depending on how I'm feeling, depending on where my focus at.
Okay, so
Yeah, you can believe me, I can take my time and sound that shit out and read with the best of them. You can believe that. Trust me.
okay. So do you guys see my screen?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So right under here, lateral thinking is a manner of solving problems using an indirect and creative approach via reasoning that is not immediately obvious. It involves ideas that may not be obtainable using only traditional step-by-step logic. All right. Consider pseudoscience by some. The term was used in 19. I'm sorry.
Nothing. Go ahead.
Keyword by some, not all, by some. The term was first used in 1967 by Maltese psychologist Edward de Bono in his book, The Use of Lateral Thinking. De Bono cites the judgment of Solomon as an example of lateral thinking, where King Solomon resolved a dispute over the patriarch of a child by calling for the child to be cut in half and making his judgment according to the reactions that his order receives. Edward de Bono also links lateral thinking with humor, arguing it entails a switch over from a familiar pattern to a new, unexpected one. It is this moment of surprise generating laughter and new insight which facilitates the ability to see a different thought pattern which initially was not obvious. According to de Bono, lateral thinking deliberately distance itself from the standard perception of creativity as vertical logic, the classic method for problem solving. Now, you get that? Now, you guys get it?
I was lost at the cut in the half. You cut the
Yeah,
child in half
I
part.
got lost at the pseudo part.
Okay, but so you ain't paying attention to all that. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave it up here so you guys.
You said it was pseudo though. You can't read something that says pseudo. I think I scored away.
It said
No,
consider
it says okay, but you
by
wasn't
some.
paying. See, that's the thing. You wasn't paying attention. It says it's considered pseudo by some, not all, by some.
Why is it
Why is
considered
it some though?
pseudoscience by some?
Oh,
Why is it
because
that?
you got some people who have disagreements about certain things. They feel like certain things are not logical.
No, but see,
Okay, all right,
so
make
okay,
it
when
fit
we
in though, Tiff. What you trying to in this conversation? How that makes sense though? What you saying? You saying that white people
Okay,
think
so what I'm
lateral?
saying is okay. Let me
And the
get you
African
guys.
think parallel. How the
One thing before you
No. Listen,
hold on, sis.
listen.
One thing before you say that, sis. Okay,
Okay.
if I bring something forth, like say if I bring something forth to my people or whatever, like yo, I need to check this out, and if they come back at me and they say, yo, this should say it's pseudo, I'm gonna go back and look into it and see like, oh shit, I ain't know it said
Okay,
that,
but
I'm gonna see
hold
why
on.
they say it's pseudo.
Hold on. Let me stop you right there.
Go ahead.
The key thing is they said pseudoscience by some, not all. Okay.
Right,
So
but why
this-
do they say it's pseudo?
because
Why do
obviously
they say
that
it's
means
pseudo?
that there was a form of disagreement on the concept of lateral thinking. That doesn't mean that everybody agrees with it being pseudo. That means that some people don't see it as being very
Right, okay,
logical
and I
or
understand that. I
necessary.
understand that. And I understand that, sis, but it was based on something. They said it was pseudo for a reason. So what was that reason that they said, okay, this is pseudoscience?
For them to say it was pseudo, now scientists can disagree
Y'all use a
on
straw
things.
man.
No, but
Nah,
the fact that some of them called it pseudo, we got to look up what's a pseudo claim. If you look at it, that means that it has more problems to it than it just being wrong, right?
Okay.
So look up a pseudo-scientific, because
Okay, well, before I go there, let's look up linear thinking, then we can look up pseudo claims, okay?
Okay. All right.
Got you? All right. So let's go to the vertical thinking. Okay.
It was vertical thinking. So I just wonder which ones is the Europeans though, and which one's the Africans.
It is, you know.
Why they can't follow the scientific method? Why the Africans can't follow the
Wait a minute,
scientific
hold
method?
on. What makes you think that they can't? Hold on. Everybody talking at once. Everybody talking at once. Okay, what makes you think that they don't have scientific methodology in African cultures? What makes you think that?
No.
What makes you answer the question? What makes you think that they do? Hold on. Let me answer. Let me ask y'all a question. What makes y'all think that they do not have scientific methodology in African cultures?
Because
everybody
they don't.
Can't answer at the same time.
If it's a traditional African culture, right? They don't have the scientific method. The Dogon, right, and their cultural approach to understanding the universe does not use empirical data. They don't do that. So no, they're not using the scientific method. The Dogon, for example, they're not doing that. They don't put themselves through the vigor of scientific scrutiny, right? They don't do that. So
how do you know?
Because they were trying to
exactly. How do you know exactly they don't do that?
Because they was trying to invent some shoes, Tiffany.
How do you know? How do you know that? Was you there?
They trying to invent some shoes.
Hold on.
No, was you there? Was you there to know that they don't use scientific methodology, or are you just saying that?
No, if they're using traditional, if they're using their traditional African culture and their traditional way of teaching and testing data, no, it's not. It's not the scientific method. It's not the standardized method of acquiring scientific knowledge.
Okay, somebody make a voice in the background.
Okay, that's me. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, then. Well, let's also look at vertical thinking. All right, let's look at vertical thinking.
You ain't asked the question though. Which one is European? Which one is
what you mean? I said culture.
Do the Africans?
I said culture. No. I said culture.
Okay. Which
I said culture shouldn't have nothing to do with it.
No, we're trying to figure out which one does vertical thinking and which one do what's the other one vertical and the other one. I'm asking.
And lateral thinking. Lateral thinking and vertical thinking.
So how did the Africans think? What was they thinking?
Okay, so I explained it earlier. I don't know if you was listening when I was talking to brother Ken and brother Shefferin.
What's Wiki Wand?
Huh?
No, we didn't say which one.
What's Wiki Wand?
Which what?
I said, what is Wiki Wand? What is that site?
Damn,
that's Wikipedia. That's just the standard version of Wikipedia. But
I got you.
Yeah, that's the extended version of Wikipedia. But anyways, what I was saying is earlier, okay, what I was trying to explain is that as a people, right, we tend to be lateral thinkers. And when I say lateral thinkers, I mean that we like to visualize things, okay? We like to use creativity.
I know who.
Okay? Hold on,
No.
listen, brother. I'm gonna have to kick you off here if you're not gonna let me speak.
No, I said the who. Come on now, Tiff.
Come on, can't you let me speak? Can I finish? Because you asked me a question, I gotta speak, and you keep cutting me off. Please, thank you. All right. So what I was saying earlier is that as African descended people, right? We like to visualize things. Okay, we like to and when I say we like to visualize, we like to use personification, anthropomorphism. I keep mispronouncing that word. Yeah, we like to use those things to be able to have a better interpretation, understanding of the scientific world. So we tend to be lateral thinkers, meaning that we tend to be very creative in our own way of thinking. We tend to, but we still
Out the
have the
box.
same answer. You know what I'm saying? So
Out the box. They think out the box, you're saying. Basically.
I'm sorry.
You're basically saying we think out the box.
If you want to put it that way,
she's saying they relate the natural world to like animals and shit. Anthropomorphism. That's what you're saying.
yes.
Oh shit!
Okay.
Well, that explains it, Tiff. That
Okay.
explains why we
But
got
hold
our
on.
ass whipped
But wait a minute. Let's look at vertical. Let's look at vertical thinking. Let's look at vertical thinking. So vertical thinking is a type of approach to problems that usually involves one being selective, analytical, and sequential. It could be said that it is the opposite of lateral thinking. Unlike lateral thinking that involves using added intuition, risk-taking, and imagination through unconscious and subconscious process, vertical thinking consists of using more of a conscious approach via rational assessment in order to take in information or make decisions. This type of thinking encourages individuals to employ a sequential approach to solving problems where a creative and multi-directional response are seen as imprudent. Vertical thinkers prefer to rely on external data and facts in order to avoid failure or counterfactual thinking. Okay, so basically that's being linear. Okay, so that's kind of like from that approach, as far as the linear thinking is concerned, or vertical thinking, that's more like what we do here in the Western culture, right? We use like the linear level or vertical thinking level because we're trying to like be very analytical and go step by step versus just using creativity or just using our imagination and things like that.
So basically, instead of making a horse and wagon, we'll just walk and push some shit on top of our head, basically.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
No, so with the vertical thinking, it would be more practical, right?
Yes, there you go. Okay, there you go. Yeah, going following. Hold on. Following step by step, and dealing with it from a by step approach versus using creative approach. Yes.
So why would we go with lateral if we have a, you know what I'm saying? I feel like vertical would be the preferable way to go.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Because why would we be lateral?
I just gave you an example. What we was talking about, the personification and anthropomorphism and personification, because we like to be able to visualize things and use imagery and be able to use some form of creativity to have a better understanding of a natural the natural world or nature. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we use.
Okay, so I think the problem with that, right, is they so I know they said that the scientists of now, like the modern scientists, use metaphors and shit like that to kind of explain it to like say like an elementary school student. So they use easy to understand metaphors or whatever. But
okay.
the ancient Africans, they try to relate that to what the ancient Africans was doing, but the ancient Africans were just doing some basic shit. They didn't have anything that they was trying to make metaphors for, because you don't have any text or any, scripts that are the real science shit they was talking. If that make any sense, if you can understand what I'm saying, like what was the real science that they was talking that wasn't the metaphor shit?
What? I'm confused.
Yeah,
So
you kind of
you
lost me
remember?
with that question.
Hold on. So boom. You got metaphors. You got the Neil deGrasse Tyson. He might break some shit down into some real basic language, right? But when he talking with his other physics buddies or whatever, they talking that real shit. Where are the ancient Africans talking that real shit to the ones that was on that level in their time? Where's that text at? Where's that script?
Well, I don't have the script directly in front of me, so but as far as that, because I'm quite sure that they were able to talk to their African brothers and sisters during that time period and try to introduce them to something new. I mean, even mentioned before about the ancient Egyptian, they started to like gradually go into dealing with scientific methodology. Correct, brother?
Mm-hmm. First rudiment. Yep.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so evidently, so they expose their people to the different type of approach to science to kind of steer them away from just dealing with just spirituality, but just dealing with getting into the modern context of getting into the evolution of science. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, as far as I hope that part answers your question. But as far as like where is it, I don't have a book to actually show that, oh, this is where exactly what they were saying or what kind of conversation they was having with each other. So I don't have that in handy.
Yeah, because we just don't have like them talking like that amongst each other back in them days.
I mean,
Like
they
they
might
don't.
they were probably talking like that, but they was probably
Nah, they
talking in
didn't
their
under.
hold on. They
They.
probably was talking in their
Mhm.
tribal language. We don't know exactly what they were saying amongst each other back then. Okay, because we wasn't there to count, to witness that. So we don't have any evidence to actually prove that exactly what they were telling each other back then, as far as like, how to go about dealing with science and things like that. We just know that they just had their own cultural practice.
So, okay, Kent kind of took me down a different road. That's not where I was going at. So you basically saying that indigenous cultures in North America, Canada, Australia were these they all thought the same way, linear. So you saying the ancient cultures thought linear? Is that basically what you were saying too?
The
Or
ancient
was it
cultures
just the
thought
No, no, no,
lateral.
actual
no, 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 no. I
lateral?
said lateral. I said lateral
So
thinking.
Yeah, the ancient
okay, so
cultures thought
lateral. So
lateral.
so so all the ancient people thought lateral.
No, not okay. I can't say all of them, but I'm saying that the ones that we heard about, we know about, they use lateral thinking. Now there are those who have used linear thinking. If we go into study about the golden age, during it, excuse me, during that time period, like, the golden age period where the Muslims and all of that, they came about, they started getting into the concept of dealing with scientific methodology. Or the Greeks, the Romans, all of that, they was getting into the concept of using linear thinking. So I can't say that everybody was lateral, but there are certain culture that are both lateral thinkers and linear thinkers. And then there are those who just deal with the lateral thinking. There are those who deal with linear thinking.
So what's the best way of thinking?
Well, for me, I would say that I could use a combination of both. And the reason why I say that, because that helps balance it out. So you can be vertical thinking, but you can also use the lateral thinking, because you can be able to have a creative way to go about being able to explain the scientific knowledge to those who may not be able to fully understand, or who want to understand it, but they can't understand it from the technical level.
Hmm.
You know?
Okay.
But see, the
So
ancients was just lateral thinking. They didn't have any vertical thinking. Well, no, I can't. I'm not going to say
yeah, I ain't
that.
running with that. I
But
ain't running
they,
with none of
yeah, I
that.
ain't gonna say. I'm not
I
gonna
don't know
say
what the
that.
hell it is. Tiff, you sure you ain't make that up though?
You know what,
I don't.
brother?
I don't
We're
know
not
what
gonna go
y'all
there.
talking
Don't do
about.
that. Please don't do that. Please,
I'm
please.
saying
I'm
y'all
being
didn't
very
say that.
civilized here. Please don't do that. Don't, please,
No,
It
no,
please,
feels like
I
please
didn't
don't.
they
say that.
just
Let's
looked up in the
let's
sky.
let's not do
Hold on,
that, because I
Kent.
just gave you the
Hold on, Kent.
definition,
No,
and I just showed you the
your article.
definition.
Yeah, but it didn't say Africans.
No, of
It
course it's
didn't
not
say
gonna
what
say African.
tribe.
Oh my,
So
of
how
course
do
it's
you
not saying
apply
African.
that?
I just
So
explained it
why
to
do
you. Oh my goodness, I
so
just explained
so
it
why
to
you
you.
so you just trying to say that only African people is creative?
No, 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 no. I did not say African people was creative. Did you not listen to when Brother Kent asked me a question about the cultures and how if they was linear thinkers or whatnot? I said that I can't say everybody was lateral thinkers, and I can't say that everybody was linear thinkers. But what I'm saying is, as a people, we tend to be very creative. Okay, I'm not saying other cultures are not creative or not lateral thinkers. Hell, you got Native American, they lateral thinkers. The Chinese people,
Really?
they're very lateral thinkers. You know what I'm saying? And they also use linear thinking. So I'm not sitting here saying that African people are the only ones. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we tend to use lateral thinking to bring about better interpretation of science because that's how we are.
But before we do that, we have to.
Saying hold on, Kent. So you basically saying the motherfuckers that end up losing with the lateral thinkers. Okay, I got you.
But what I'm saying is we can use
right. I mean, right or wrong, though, too.
What I'm saying is that in certain cultures, hold on, let me answer the question. If you got to quit cutting me off. You keep cutting me off, and I'm not able to answer. What I'm saying that in certain cultures, they are lateral thinkers and vertical thinkers, right? And then you got those who are just vertical thinkers, and you got those who are just lateral thinkers. That's what I'm saying.
So what are your opinions? What are the Greeks and the Romans? What kind of thinkers are they?
Well, the Greek and Romans at that time, they were very lateral thinkers, and they both lateral and vertical thinkers.
So that's everybody. Oh my God! All right.
Okay. So I mean, so what were you trying to get at? I didn't say that they couldn't. I didn't say no other culture is not like that.
No.
I didn't say that.
So how does this fit into our conversation? Is what I'm saying.
Because
Ken started talking to you and drew it all along. I'm trying to figure out what does that have to do with the post and science?
Because I just told you, I just said it so many times. I'm not gonna keep repeating myself. I said it so many times on here. I just explained it to you. Explained to you.
So science is vertical thinking?
No, not at all.
But yes, because it uses a practical approach and you're going step by step. If you're using scientific methodology, you're using vertical thinking. And it's in this culture, in the Western culture, especially in the Western hemisphere, they use a lot of vertical thinking because while they going by scientific methodology, step by step, they're not using creative ways of dealing with scientific approach. They're not they're not using like traditional, type of stuff, ancient type of stuff like they did at once upon a time. You know what I'm saying? So they have the thing of scientific methodology. So therefore, they're using the vertical thinking process.
So you like the Egyptians? They thought if shit was older, it was better. So you basically think the old shit is better. The Stone Age, the Iron Age.
No, I didn't say the Stone Age was better, but
how about the Iron Age, Bronze Age?
I didn't say that was better, but if we're gonna talk about the foundation, we gotta look at the foundation, how things were in the beginning, and how we got up to this point today. We got to go into the origin. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I mean, at that time they thought it was better, but today we know that a lot of the stuff they did back then is not going to be very useful today.
Okay, so what I would like to say is that Homo sapiens are symbolic thinkers. They spooked out, right? They believe. It's called the believing brain. Our brain is forged in the Stone Age. It is based off of believing and beliefs. When you believe everything, you just don't miss nothing. So you jumping at everything. You scared of everything. You everything is a potential threat to you. So science comes along later on, and so you find people being murdered for saying that Zeus did not create lightning. You find people like Galileo.
Oh yeah,
this nigga was on home arrest. He was on home arrest
most definitely,
because he said the planet went around the sun.
Exactly. Yes.
He's a vertical thinker, though.
It, right? So
he was a vertical thinker. Yes. Okay, he was a vertical thinker. Galileo was vertical.
No. I'm saying they murdered the nigga.
Yes.
Non-religious.
Lateral thinkers murdered the vertical thinker.
Okay, well, those are just religious people. You know what I'm saying? Those are Christians. We're not just, you know what I'm saying? You're talking about Christian people that did that. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm saying it represents you're missing what I'm trying to show you here. I'm saying that human beings have been more spooked out longer than they've been scientific. The scientific is it's a process to get there. So they didn't even know where humans came from. All before the 1800s, all tribes and clans thought that whatever their creation story was, that's where they came from. That's why it's a ridiculous conversation when people say the Egyptians. The Egyptians didn't know the whole goddamn world. They only knew their
No, of
world.
course they
The
didn't.
Hebrews
That's not even the argument there.
that it isn't. So you can't say they understood the Big Bang. The Big Bang is the understanding of the whole world.
Okay, I didn't
first
say they
know the
understood
whole
the
world.
Big Bang. I didn't say that.
You
I didn't say
did.
they
You said
understood
they
the
had
Big
Big
Bang.
Bangs. Rewind.
No, I didn't. I
You
never
said
said
something
that.
about Big Bang. You said
No,
something
I
about Big
said
Bang.
that we don't understand the Big Bang. We don't even know if the Big Bang theory was there in the beginning. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? In the beginning of time, we don't know if that was the foundation of the universe. That's what I said.
No, we know that now.
Yeah, we do know that, Tiff. We tell them they know how old the universe is.
Well, I mean, I can pull up articles that show you that there's questions if there was a universe before the Big Bang. If there was something before the Big Bang.
No, that's the multiverse hypothesis of what you're talking about, Tiffany.
But we don't.
But the multiverse.
But again, we don't exactly know. We don't exactly know about the Big Bang. We only going by what you said, observation.
No, we know.
Based on what we observe, right? So we're going by what we observe. But
so we observe that the universe is expanding, and we're able to calculate where these celestial bodies is going to be at. Like how we can tell when we're gonna have a full moon and things of that nature. Like we can clock that on the dot. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with knowing how this universe is expanding and knowing what things are going to be, and we can predict things. You know what I'm saying, Tiff?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I'm saying we know that the Big Bang theory, we know that the Big Bang is an actual thing. Like we know that the universe is expanding, and that at one time we reversed it and it went all back to the singularity.
Okay, I'm not saying that the Big Bang is not an actual thing. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is we don't know what was before the Big Bang. We only going by based on what is observed and what we call the Big Bang theory. That's what we're going by, but we don't know what came before. That's all I'm saying.
And we never claimed to.
Yeah, nobody claimed, but that ain't got nothing to do with the Big Bang. What came before it?
Okay, well, I got an article right here. I would like for you to look at. I got an article right here. Who's this other pseudo killer? Hold on. I'm curious. Who's the other pseudo killer person that's been waiting for a while?
Oh, you probably got just that was my knock that out.
Oh, okay.
Look how long you kept me there. If it was, you kept me out.
Okay, well, I was having a conversation with brother Sheffrin. That's why.
But we know how not to jump in though. Like we know to be on our best behavior over here.
Now I just wanted to hear what he had to say first. That's why I didn't put you on, because he was the first one that said something. And I called on him and I said, well, hey, would you like to come on here? So I put the link on there so he can come on there and say whatever he got to say. And then you and Kent came along later.
So that means I got waiting there 45 minutes. That's the one.
I mean, I was trying to hear what these gentlemen had to say, you know what I'm saying? Because I know how you are, you know what I'm saying? I know, everybody want to talk at once. Man. So I just want to be able to hear everybody.
So that's the truth. So I don't have enough discipline not to say nothing while Chef talking. All right. I'm going to get you next time you come over. I'm going to make sure you stand there for half.
Okay. Hey, that's if I come on. Hey, that's it. That's it.
You ain't, so you don't got to, because you know you got a half an hour wait.
That's fine with me.
That's
fine with me. That's fine with me.
Right.
It's fine with me. I am okay with that. I am okay with that. Trust and believe. I am okay with that.
I don't think you can not talk while somebody else talking. I don't believe you. Like you just did me. I know where I'm at, Tiff. I know the decorum on it over here.
Okay.
Trust me. Yeah, I know. I remember. I'm your supporter. Remember? Don't kill your supporter.
We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. Let's keep it respectful. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that.
I'm a fan. So I ain't a fan of yours. I ain't a fan of yours too.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you are. I don't know if you are. You don't.
Really, Tiff?
We don't talk that much, so I don't know. I don't know where you stand with me, brother. I don't know.
Really, Really? That's how you
We
doing
don't
me
talk
now?
that much. You don't talk to me that much, brother Unc.
You don't call me. You don't call me. I
You
call you
don't
when you
talk to me
call
that
me.
much. You don't reach out to me. You don't
Okay, I'm gonna make sure I reach out. All right, I'm gonna make sure I reach out. Okay.
you know what I'm saying? You don't invite me on the platform, so I don't
You
know
got
what
a
we're
pat. You
saying.
got
No,
to
we
Tiff.
always put the
Tiff, you
link in
got
the
to
chat
open.
though.
No, but Tiff, you got to open. I don't gotta invite you. You got to open pass. You Tiffany French. You forget. You have an open pass. Come on, yo. Don't forget who you is in this thing. You always got a pass, yo.
Okay, I just want to make sure that. But here's this
That's
article
fine.
right here. It's from BBC.com. It says how our universe was born from nothing, or if there was something that exists before it remains a mystery. But that is not stopping some physicists from trying to figure it out. So
Okay.
it goes on to say, my understanding is that nothing comes from nothing. For something to exist, there must be material or a component available. And for them to be available, there must be something else available. Where did the material come from that created the Big Bang? And what happened in the first instance to create that material? All right. So that was the question that was asked by Peter from Australia. And it says the last star will slowly cool and fade away. With its passing, the universe will become once more a void without light or life or meaning. So warned the physicist Brian Cox in the recent BBC series Universe. The fading of that last star will only be the beginning of an infinitely long, dark epoch. All matter will eventually be consumed by monstrous black holes, which in their turn will evaporate away into the diminished glimmers of light. Space will expand ever outwards until even that dim light becomes too spread out to interact. Activity will cease, or will it? Strangely enough, some cosmologists believe a previous cold, dark, empty universe like the one which lies in our far future could have been the source of our very own Big Bang.
Okay. Well, how's it? How's this? I mean,
I
what are you
mean,
saying?
okay, so what I'm saying is based on this article,
Mhm.
they're saying that there could be a possibility that there could have been
Okay.
another universe before the Big Bang theory, or before what we
Yeah,
call
Okay.
Big Bang.
and
So
That's
that would
fine.
be a
That's fine.
hypothesis. So I mean,
That's
like,
fine.
who's arguing that though?
Yeah, that ain't
Nobody,
got
right,
nothing to do
so
with
nobody.
just
the
going back
Big
to what I'm
Bang not
saying,
being complete.
I was going back to what I was saying earlier that we don't know exactly if the Big Bang is the only thing that existed,
No, see,
around that time. So we only
no,
going
that's the
by what we
difference. That's the
observe, but we
difference
don't
though,
know
Tiff.
prior to that. That's all I was saying.
Right, but that's the difference though, Tiff. Like the Big Bang theory, that's locked in. We
Yes, a
know that the
theory.
Big Bang is what it
Okay.
is. Anything
Yeah, they
before the
got a
Big
whole theory.
Bang, now we guess, now we trying to figure out what happened. And like this a hypothesis. That's when you get to the
That's what I was saying.
hypothesis
That's what I
stage.
was getting at earlier. That's what I was trying to say. Maybe I didn't articulate myself very
No,
well.
so we agree then. So we
Yeah,
all
I'm,
agree
I'm
on
not
that
I'm
then.
not good at articulating myself very well, so I apologize for that, for being
No, you good.
inarticulate.
We all agree on that.
No,
We all
that's
agree
not
on that.
true. Shit, you articulate yourself about as good as I do, Tiff. Hell, you talking about? I hear what you saying. I got it. I got the memo. You pretty
Okay,
clear.
okay. Somebody put,
Yeah.
have anyone read Dr. Foucault's work from the Congo?
He's a
Fukuyama.
damn pseudo. He's a dedicated
The
pseudo.
Egyptian gave the foundation for modern science. The difference
He's
Fukuyama.
a
it was still
dedicated
connected to the
pseudo.
meaning of our entire
The
existence.
cookie
I'm
dough.
a decision. Um,
Fukuyama said the God cooked dough, and that's how the
is this
universe
okay? Is
came
this
into
the one
existence.
that wrote the book about the Bantu cosmology,
Yep.
or that's
Yeah.
somebody else?
He
Yeah,
said
that's
God
him.
cooked some pizza dough or something like that, and we the
Made a
pepperoni that
pizza.
came out of the
Made
Wait
a
a
dough.
minute. Okay, no. Is that the one that wrote the book about the Bantu cosmology?
Yeah, he wrote
Yeah,
the pizza.
that's
Yeah,
him.
he said the God cooked some dough up a pizza and made the
Okay,
Parmesan
well,
pizza,
I'm not
yo.
sure about that. I have to go back and read into that. So I do have that book, but I haven't really actually read it
Man,
all the
don't
way.
read that.
So
Don't read it. Don't read it.
I mean,
You're gonna
it
waste your
wouldn't hurt to
damn
read it.
time.
It wouldn't hurt to read it. It wouldn't
But
hurt
you
to
would
read
be
it.
better off. You would be better off reading a book by Neil deGrasse or Lawrence Krauss or
Oh,
you
I got
know.
Neil deGrasse Tyson book about
Yeah,
the
you'd be
origins.
better
I
off
got his
reading
book.
like why read? See, my question to my people is like, why read that shit when you can actually read real scientists that's actually out here in the field doing this shit that you can actually see that their work has produced some things. You know what I'm saying? Like, why
Well,
we
you
gonna
don't
be
think scientists are you don't think scientists can be philosophical and very spiritual
Yes. Yes.
and have their own
Yeah.
interpretation about the universe? I
Uh-huh.
mean,
Yep.
okay. Okay. I
Yeah,
was
we
just
can do
asking.
all that. Yeah, but we don't want to hear about your interpretation and your philosophy. That's the point. That's a separate thing. And so humans, out of philosophy comes religion.
I'm
Most people don't realize that. I mean, my fault. Out of wait, religion, philosophy, then there's science. So that's
well,
the point I was trying to make.
philosophy is the foundation of science, right? Are you
That's I don't know about all. It comes
it
out
is
of that.
it's a foundation of science because science came out the school of philosophy.
Yeah, I talk about it all the time. Socrates, Aristotle, Plato's. Okay, they called them. They was philosophers. Charles Darwin was a naturalist, and then you get your naturalist. Okay, and then you get your science. So the point is, it's really an evolution of human thought. That's why I said the mind was not developed to be scientific. That's why scientific is counterintuitive.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Did you what you just say? You said what the mind was not developed to be
I
scientific?
said no. The mind was evolved to believe. When you believe, you're not missing nothing. You looking at you taking everything for what you see. Your five senses register. The grass is moving. It's a fucking tiger. Everybody diving out the way. You're not gonna sit there and say, well, "Wait a minute, maybe it could have been the wind." No, we're gonna take it as a wild animal is coming, and we're all getting out the way. If some leaves move, we're gonna jump out the way. Anything, we jumpy. Early hominids were very jumpy, living in the trees, very jumpy, right? Come down at night to eat, run back up in the tree. So, like this, here's a statement: human beings will never make the mistake in thinking that a human is a shadow, but they will always make the mistake in thinking that a shadow is a human. That's the way your mind is designed to believe. To believe something. That's why you believe your kids went to school every day. You believe it. You don't know, but you believe it. Religion
So
is
you
based
saying that
off
we're entitled
beliefs.
to be very philosophical, correct?
Yeah, philosophical, philosophize. Me and the tree is one. Everything is everything. That's philosophy, right? Now, the next stage of Homo sapiens sapien development is to go against that natural programming. It's natural to believe. It's far more natural to believe than it is not to believe. So you start to develop these thinkers that no longer want to believe in the tribal deities. They want to know, well, where do we come from? Not just that tribe. So you got Bishop Usher, okay? He says that humans were born in the Garden of Eden October 24th, 8 o'clock in the morning. 4004 BCE, and they followed this model. In the 1800s, Europeans, Muslim, Christians, and Jews, right, thought that we came from the Garden of Eden. Indigenous tribes thought that their God created them in their worlds. Charles Darwin challenged that. Albert Churchwood and Charles Darwin challenged that. Okay? They were saying, no, it was Africa. And it was based off of what? The theory. What was the theory? The theory of evolution, where it had predictive power. So if Charles Darwin predicted, he predicted that in a later time, we will find ancient anthropods that humans came from. And the prediction came true. So in his time, he had no idea. They didn't have any ancient hominids yet. No ancient, I didn't find that. But he predicted it based off of his theory that he developed. And they call it the theory of natural selection by way of theory of natural selection. I forget the rest of it by way of, I can't think of it. Right. But this is groundbreaking. So you don't even get to the Big Bang until humans start pondering the question of where do all humans come from, not just where do the Egyptians come from, not just where did the Hittites come from, not just where the Persians come from, not the Greeks come from Mount Olymp. No, the Romans, Romanus and Regulus, they come. No. The next stage is what? That's the point I'm trying to make here. So these, they don't even know to ask the question yet. So what we do is we superimpose our way of thinking, right, on ancient tribes who wasn't even trying to answer that question. They wasn't trying to figure out where the whole universe came from because they didn't know about the whole universe. They only knew about the sky they was looking at. And I think we clearly forget these things because we listen to Bobby Hemmett. We listen to Phil Valentine. We listen to Asar Hotep. We listen to Wu Jai as they philosophize.
Okay, well, I don't know what the whole ordeal with you and Wu Jai and Asar and
no,
Hotep.
there is no deal.
I don't know.
Hold on. There is no deal. It's very simple. The line has been drawn in the sand.
Okay.
We will not mix philosophy, religion, and religious cosmology with modern science. It makes no sense to play
philosophy.
That game.
You gonna always have philosophy. What are you saying? You gonna always have philosophy. You cannot take away philosophy. You cannot. No. See, that's where you messed up at. That's where you messed up at.
I never
That's
said
where you messed up at.
I said mix it.
Philosophy is gonna be there in science. What are you saying?
No, you don't have to mix it.
It starts off as being philosophical. Okay, because philosophy deals with the subjectivity, right? It introduces the knowledge.
No, not okay, Tiff. I'm saying you mix the two. You're not gonna mix the Bible philosophy.
Hold on. No. I ain't say the Bible. I ain't say nothing about religion. I said philosophy. I'm just dealing with philosophy.
So that's what the
good question, but Beyonce asked a good question. What does PhD stand for? What does a P in PhD stand for? The brother asked the question, brother.
What?
He asked, "What does P in PhD stand for?"
He asking you. He ain't asking me.
No, he is asking you because you.
Why is he asking me? I'm talking about not mixing science, religion, and philosophy, and he jumped out about what the PhD mean. That's a trick. He trying to trick me. I don't know what he's talking. What? What's the point?
Okay.
Like how does that help? How does that help?
Philosophy is always going to be there. You cannot execute philosophy.
That's not what we're talking about, though.
You said that you cannot mix philosophy with science. Yes, you can.
I'm saying no, you cannot.
Yes, you can. Because philosophy deals with the values. Hold on, wait a minute.
No, you cannot.
Wait a minute, listen to me.
It's philosophy. Two separate things. We're not doing that.
Philosophy deals with the value. Science deals with the facts.
I'm not doing that, man.
Okay? Science deals with facts. So everywhere you go, it don't matter what you do with science, there's going to always be philosophy. You cannot take philosophy out that picture. You cannot separate that.
Man, yes, you can. The Greeks did it. How was the Greeks able to do it? And they got thrown the fuck out of Greece for it. Literally. Doing too much. Charles Darwin did it.
But he started out being philosophical, didn't he? Did he not start being philosophical?
That's not the point I'm making, but there's a line where you stop. And then you no longer have to philosophize about it. You no longer have to be...
You're going to always have philosophy. What is you saying? That doesn't make any sense.
No, it does make sense. When you're
going to always have philosophy.
Tiffany, the Big Bang is not considered philosophy.
No, that's not considered philosophy, but at one time, people were philosophical about it. People are still philosophical. So you tell me scientists are not going to be philosophical?
I'm saying a scientist can be philosophical, but when he does his investigation, he goes by the data.
Okay.
So a scientist can be religious, but when he's doing his work, he separates it.
Okay, yeah, he separates religion, but...
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Because you see Neil, you can see when Neil is philosophizing. Right? You can tell.
But you're saying that you can't mix philosophy and science, but do you just say that he philosophized?
No, but I'm saying he's a physicist that philosophizes, but when he's doing his experimentation, it's just the data. When they're looking at the cosmic background radiation, it's not philosophy. And people notice, but they want to play the game so they can ease the fucking Egyptians in there or ease somebody else in there with the bullshit because that's all they had was philosophy. They didn't have science. They was working on it. They never got there to the point where they was scientific. They didn't separate the shit. They hadn't reached that point in thinking yet, no matter what them niggas be saying. And they be making that shit up on purpose to confuse people. You ain't hear about
these people? Who are these people we're talking about that's confusing
I already
people?
said it. Wu-Jai and Saltep. I said it. I don't hide names.
Okay, well,
I don't run from that.
Okay, well,
I don't run from that. And that's not to say that they ain't my boys, but I don't agree with them on this point, and I don't appreciate the Malachi York, Bobby Hemmett nonsense because that's starting to sound like them guys. And whenever you start to sound like Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine, and the boys, it's a problem for the community because now we're getting confused, we mixed up. Now we don't know the difference now. Now let's open up the floodgates, right? And let's not forget about the Hebrews and their philosophical stance and their cosmological mythology. Let's bring that into it too. And while we at it, let's bring in the Persians. Oh, by the way, throw the Hittites in there. Throw the Creek Indians into it while we doing it. Let's examine all their cosmology and see how much they got right. Let's do that. Well, guess what? They already did it. None of them got it right. So I'm not going to sit up here and lie to my people like that. It's on purpose because everybody know damn well there's a clear difference. We know this. We read the data. We understand this. And no one is saying that a religious cosmology or philosophy is not important to human beings. We've never said that. That's not the point.
Cosmology is also science and also considered as philosophy too, right?
Yeah, but you have religious cosmology and you have
No,
cosmology.
not the religious cosmology. I mean, you do got religious cosmology, but just cosmology alone can be science, and also it can be philosophy.
Yes, right. So we're not talking about the philosophy cosmology, which the Egyptians employed, which the Cherokee Indians employed, which the Aboriginal Australians employed. We know they did that. The whole world did that. The whole world at a certain point thought that each clan and each tribe gave birth to their world. Like we act like this didn't happen. Like we so 2022-ish, we put our brain thinking the way we think and feel on people in 2800 BCE. The pyramid text, the creation story, 2800 BCE. The daggone Egyptians was burying subjects. When the king died or dignitary died, they would literally murder the dignitaries. Or maybe they agreed to this ritual human sacrifice. So you could never get me to think or believe that people that was burying, that didn't realize that, wait a minute, burying the subjects to be risen in the afterlife, to help the pharaoh in the afterlife, that's just dumb. They didn't realize that. They really thought, they really believed, right, that they needed these certain amulets and they needed their service with them. They thought that was real to them. You could never get me to think that these people understood or remotely got close to understanding the damn universe. They didn't know the universe. They only knew the stars that they saw. And to them, that was their cosmology. It's us, the African American, that's doing way too much these days, Tiff. The African don't want what the African American got to give them. Because the only thing we got to give them is, go back to your rituals. They don't want that. They want to be competing on the world stage. They want to be able to get out their natural resources and take care of their family. That's what they really want. They want to be educated again. They want to be back where they was to prominence. And the only way to do that is when you fall, you get back up. But how do you get back up? By understanding the world around you. Christianity moved away from sacrificing. That's why the religion spread in Egypt. That's why. Because you no longer had the sacrifice. The
Okay.
Hebrews moved away from that. That's an ancient tradition of sacrificing humans and animals. In the
Okay.
Bible, in the book of Exodus, Moses sacrifices a bull, fills up the basin with blood, and he sprinkles it on the people. It's an ancient tradition that sure as hell ain't had no real power to it. They stopped it.
Okay, brother. Now, what's your thought on this? Military sacrifice people all the time in the name of science and technology.
What? I mean, I don't even understand that question. Like, what?
No, that's a statement. That's a statement.
But I don't understand it. Like, what is that?
You don't understand the statement that military sacrifice people all the time in the name of science and technology?
You made that up. What are you talking about? Like, see, that's just
he made that up. You don't think
like,
military sacrifice people?
No, I don't. I think they go to war. They go to battle for a reason, and people die in that. That's what I'm saying. I don't know about what. How does that have anything to do with people?
Okay, philosophy and mythology are separate. Don't conflate the two.
What?
Philosophy and mythology are separate. Don't conflate the two. That's the comment.
Okay. Well, that's fine. Well, then don't mix it with science. We'll do that game. We'll do religion, we'll do philosophy, and we'll do science. And I'm fine with that. Since that's how they want to do it. We'll do all that. Absolutely good with that. Great. Good one.
Okay, now here's another comment. Facts are different from the truth in the sense. In Chicago, fact is 8 p.m., but the fact is in California is truthfully a different time.
What? I don't understand that, Vasa. What the hell are you talking about?
Okay, so the person saying that facts and truth are different. Okay, facts can be proven, but the truth is what is absolute, is basically what he's trying to say. Mm-hmm. Okay, so when he say that facts and truth are different, he used an example like in Chicago, right? On the central time, it's 8 p.m., right? It will be 8 p.m. in Chicago. But in California, they are 3 hours behind, so it'll be a different time. So that's the truth. So the truth of the matter is that California and Chicago don't have the same time. They are 3 hours apart.
Okay, well, I'm talking about objective truths. All right, that is right no matter where you go. So he's being funny and mixing it up, and you know it. He understands he's mixing it in for no reason. He clearly understands that. He clearly understands why it's a different time in Chicago. Like, he knows that. It's a number placed on the rotation of the earth around the sun. And he knows this, but he throws it in there as if he said something slick out of nowhere. It really has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now.
Okay, so you don't believe that militaries don't sacrifice people all the time in the name of science and technology?
I don't understand the question. It makes no sense.
No, it's a statement. No, it's a statement. You don't. I'm asking.
No. Oh, no. I don't know. I don't know. How would I know what every government on planet Earth do?
So militaries don't sacrifice people, right?
For their country? For their rules and regulations they laid down?
In the name of science and technology. So they don't use science technology as a way to sacrifice people, as to kill people. So they don't do that in the military, right?
Yeah, but it's not in the name of science. It's in the name of their government. It's in the name of their worldview and whatever they're trying to push. That's what it's for. It's not for science and technology. They use science and technology, but it's not for science and technology. But I don't know, it's 12:30. Okay. Look, I'm out of here, Tiff. I just want to
okay, then.
Love.
All right.
I want to show you
all right, then.
love.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you too. Thank you for coming through.
Yeah, anytime, man. The bros, man, they really respect you, man. They really appreciate you.
Okay, well, tell the brothers, thank you. Tell Brother Sheffrin and Brother Kent. I appreciate them for coming on.
Yeah, and we know the rules and regulations that you set on the platform. We understand you don't like a whole lot of nonsense. You want people one at a time. And we know what it is when we come in your house. Now, we might act crazy on our shit, but we know when we come to Tiffany French, there's a different type of decorum, right? That's the way you promote your shows. And we will always be on that behavior out of respect for you.
Yeah, and
Simple as
I
that.
would do likewise, you know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't want to come on there, your platform, be disrespectful on your platform. I
Oh,
would,
you can do that on ours though. You can
but
talk over people
no,
on
I don't
ours.
want to do
We don't
that
mind.
because,
I know we don't mind
I'm
that.
at that age where I'm trying to be a little bit more mature. So, there's a way of dealing
I
with
got
things.
you.
You don't have to disrespect people.
Now you never been disrespectful though. You just get your point across. I ain't never known you be a disrespectful person. Not
Okay, but
even
I'm
when you
just
was
saying,
back in the day.
I know how I can be. I can be coming off, I mean, you know me, but those other guys,
Yeah.
they don't really know me like that. You know what I'm
They
saying?
don't know you.
Yeah, they don't really
They
know
don't
me.
know you.
So I don't want to come off as being, I'm passionate, but they might take my passion as me being disrespectful to them. And I don't want them to feel that way.
I got you. I get that. All right.
Yeah.
I got you.
Okay.
I appreciate you.
Well, thank you, brother.
All right. Peace.
All right. You have a good one. Woo. All right, then. Okay. Okie dokie. Well, that was interesting. Well, so what do you guys think? In the chat, I see the chat going in. So, what y'all think? Y'all thought that was very interesting. I think it was an interesting conversation that I had with the brothers. I appreciate them coming on there. I appreciate Sheffrin and brother Kent and brother Ankh coming on there. I really do. I'm glad that we actually had a chance to talk, but I'm gonna be honest, Ankh kind of just threw me off. He pretty much threw me off afterwards. Especially when he said that you cannot mix philosophy in with science. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. Why do you think scientists do an ongoing research? Like I gave an example about consciousness, right? As far as like people still trying to figure out what consciousness is. And so scientists are trying to study the concept of consciousness to this day. Okay. So we know that from the standpoint, consciousness is philosophical, but scientifically, they trying to find the evidence behind it. You know what I'm saying? So you can always be philosophical. As a matter of fact, you got scientists who sit down and talk to philosophers all the damn time. I gave an example, David Bohm and Jiddu Krishnamurti. They done had conversation with each other on numerous occasions, talking about meditation, talking about consciousness, talking about nature, etc. Okay? So philosophical ideas are always incorporated into science. And oh yeah, let me give you guys another YouTube channel I want y'all to check out. I want y'all to check out another YouTube channel. And then I don't want to keep y'all up all night because I know some of y'all probably got to go work in the morning or whatever the case may be. So I ain't gonna keep y'all up all night. So let's look up another channel. What's the one? Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys this channel that you guys need to watch on your personal time. Whenever you get a chance to. This is no one of my personal favorites, but I recommend it to you guys. This is called the World Science Festival. Okay. So as you can see right here, we're going to go into the playlist. So there's different playlists, right? By subjects. So you got physics and math, mind and brain, biology and origin of life, space and the cosmos, tech and engineering, right? Science and society, art and science, and earth and environment. Okay. Okay, so you guys need to check this out. It's called World Science Festival. All right. So what you have different scientists, okay, having discussions, and each of them using their philosophy, right? Each of them are philosophical, and they're having conversations about various subject matters. So there are going to be disagreements because, again, it starts off as being philosophical. So each scientist is going to have their subjectivity, right? But then they're going to bring about agreements. So when he say that, well, you cannot mix in philosophy with science, it happens all the time. Because, again, science come out of the school of philosophy, okay? You're going to have that. That's automatic. Now, religion, of course, you don't want your religion involved in that. But as far as being using philosophy, yeah, you're going to have that. Philosophy is going to always be there. That's not going to really separate itself. Now, what's going to happen is it's going to transition into bring about scientific facts, but philosophy is always going to be there. Which is a fact, but not a truth. Hence, why philosophical conversations take place, and we knowledge, wisdom, and discernment, or we use knowledge, wisdom, discernment, and science to draw accurate decision. Good question. Good question. You make a good point, Brother Vinyasa. Good question. God is money, capitalism, and religion. Okay. And somebody put, we're talking about sacrificing people to appeal a God. Okay, and guess what? Guess what? You're right, Brother King Sosa. I'm not taking away the fact that religion was used as a way to sacrifice people. That's not even an argument. But if we're going to make that argument, we also got to make the argument how science and technology has been used to sacrifice people as well. We can't just argue that religion has used to sacrifice people. We also got to argue that science and technology has been used to sacrifice people. We got to be technical. We got to be honest about that. We have to have an honest conversation. Okay. Corporations sacrifice children for profit and prosperity. That is a sacrifice. I agree with you. There is philosophy in mythology. Facts deals with data. The truth comes from a total assessment. It takes many facts to declare a truth. Yikes. 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 Ooh. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, I like that. I like what you just said. Facts deals with data. Truth comes from a total assessment. It takes many facts to declare a truth. I like that. Well said, niggas. Well said. Okay, let's see what else. Actually, humans hardly act on what they know, but what they feel. A computer thinks. Our desensitization is more horrendous than our intellectual lacking. That was a response about time. Absolutely. Right, but I understood what you meant, brother. He didn't understand, but I understood what you meant. Basically, what you were saying that it's a fact that okay. Bro, my eye. What's up, bro? Oh, see, you clever. Okay, I got to give you that. You clever, bro. Bro, you clever. You clever. You clever. You clever. Wow, you clever. You clever. Okay, bro. Bro, you clever for that. You clever. Because I thought you was just somebody that just came through. Like, I wish I would have known. I got to give you your credit. Shout out to you, boy. You clever. You clever, Shotty. You clever. I like that. I like that. You are very clever, dude. But yeah, you right, brother Vinyasa. You made a lot of sense right there. You're right. What I was saying is, basically, I get what you're coming from. I didn't get it, but I understood what you meant. Basically, what you're saying is facts can be proven, but the truth is what's really absolute. So the fact is that it is 8 o'clock in Chicago, which, we using that as an example because of the Central Time. So it's proven that it's 8 o'clock. But we also can prove that it's a fact that it is 5 o'clock in California, right? So that is something that could be proven. But what is absolute is that there is separation in time. There is separation in time. So they are 3 hours apart. So that's the truth. They are 3 hours apart. So I understood. I totally got you. I was asking about Portolo Sigi Tolo. Portolo Sigi Tolo. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is, brother. To be honest with you, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know anything about the Portolo Sigi Tolo. Maybe you will have to expound on that for me to be able to better answer your question, because I'm not that far into my African knowledge of things, to be honest. I'm not that far into it, so I don't know. I don't personally know anything about that, so I'm sorry if I can't answer that question. Okay, let me see what else. Ooh, he put Unc is a roast bread fruit. Ooh. Wow. Let me see. Okay, so you put all we do is strip away the essence of it all for the basic materialistic value of their existing. He put last time they used science to test my spirit, I got a public intoxicating ticket. Ah. Okay, so Pure Black had asked the question. I'm going through these comments because I was too busy getting caught up with Unc and them. I'm not talking about the person who smokes. I'm asking, does actual crack rocks have a spirit? That's a panpsychism question, actually. So that's a panpsychism question, because we're dealing with like inanimate object, and how does it have like some type of form of life or energy to it? So in spirit. So that will be a panpsychism question. But it does bring an effect on the body. We do know that the crack rock itself can bring an effect on the body because of the chemical that's in it. So it could bring about chemical reaction to the body. That we do know. Okay, but that question right there that you asked, Pure Black, is a panpsychism question. Everything has a spirit. Now we gotta define the word spirit, because the word spirit means to breathe, right? Let's look at the word spirit real fast while we on the subject. We gotta look at the definition, because see, when we talk about the word spirit, we gotta define spirit in its technicality. Okay, definition of spirit: an animating or vital principle held to give life to physical organism. Okay, that's spirit, right? And then the second definition is a supernatural being or essence, such as capitalized Holy Spirit, soul sense, and often malevolent being that is bodiless but can become visible specifically. All right, a malevolent being that enters and possesses a human being. All right, so a temper or disposition of the mind or outlook, especially when vigorous or animated. The immaterial, intelligent, or segment part of a person. Okay. Let's see. A special attitude or frame of mind. The feeling, quality, or disposition characterizing characterizing something. Oh, an alcohol solution of a volatile substance. So there's many definitions, but when we look at the technicality of spirit, That means an animate or vital principle held to give life to physical organism. Okay. Oh, okay. I understand your question now. Series A and Series B. Okay. Okay. Now I get you. Okay. I will say this. I don't know everything about the Dogon tribe. Okay. I wasn't there to witness whatever they witnessed as far as Series A and Series B is concerned. Okay. So we don't know exactly everything that they observe. We can't say that they didn't observe this or observe that because we don't know everything. We wasn't there. So, but the person that was there, this is what they were saying about the Dogon people. Okay, but we don't know for a fact if that person was actually telling the truth. Okay. But what I don't like is the downplay of the fact that we look down on our African brothers and sisters, especially the ones that are indigenous, because they may have a way of having an understanding or a relationship with nature. I don't like that at all because I feel like this at the end of the day, it does not mean that they're not scientific. It means that they're scientific in their own way. If we study about the indigenous traditional knowledge, we'll realize that they have their own way of dealing with nature. And you entitled to deal with nature. We gonna always be subjective and we gonna always have the objective. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. That's just life in itself. We gonna always be subjective. So, let's see. Somebody asked me, how do you know the spirit of a plant? By infusion, by fats, and by alcohol. Okay. Bro, you seem like you real scientific over here. Because you just going in. Bro going in, though. He going in. Bro going in on. He going in. It says that breath is also associated with the light, that which brings everything into existence. Unfortunately, the science Ankh deals with dismisses it. We got to be honest. When even in science field, you have to be careful. One thing Ngozi said to me, and shout out to brother Ngozi, he said you got to be careful with those in science because they can tend to be very biased, and that's very true. They can become very biased in their thinking. They can be real biased. Okay, so there's going to be the politics. Politics is going to be in everything, even in science. There is the politics. All right. There's going to always be politics taking place. That's one thing we got to be honest about. So we got to be very careful how we deal with scientific research and scientific knowledge, because just because it's science does not mean that it is factual and it's true because they say it. We got to carefully analyze. Sometimes you have to question science. Sometimes you have to question the information. You have to question the sources. Scientists question each other all the time. You know what I'm saying? Oh, those who do the peer reviews, if they're actually doing peer reviews, they're going to question the sources. That's what you do. You have the right to question things. You know, you can't always take things at face value because they say it. You know what I'm saying? You got to question them. Let's see what else. Oh, child. I ain't intend on being on here this long, child. You know, when Unc get on here, he get to talking for real. The Conference of North America has stripped my brothers and sisters of a very close connection with nature. It is sad because I know information connects only with one hemisphere. You're right. And you know, let me say this. I believe in science, okay? I believe that we should learn about science. I believe that we should learn about science. Science is very important. You know what I'm saying? It's a very important aspect of our life. But if we look at the definition of science, science means to know. It deals with the knowledge. That's all science really deals with. Okay? I'm all for science. I'm all for biology. I'm all for anthropology. I'm all for yeah, I'm all for biology. I'm all for anthropology. I'm all for that. I support that 100%. I support it 100%. You know what I'm saying? I think we should know about chemistry and physics. I support those things. I support those things wholeheartedly. Okay. But I also believe that we should have culture as well. You know what I'm saying? We should have a right to be able to interpretate it. Excuse me. We should have a right to interpret things. You know what I'm saying? Use our own interpretation to be able to have a better understanding of the natural world around us. So that's why I was saying by lateral thinking and vertical thinking. We should have a combination of both. If we have the combination of both lateral thinking and vertical thinking, if we have the combination of lateral thinking and vertical thinking, then it'll balance itself out. You know what I'm saying? Because when you become a lateral thinker, you can be able to bring about a better interpretation. And I always mention the anthropomorphism, for example. You can use anthropomorphism, personification, quasi-allegory to better explain the nature of science. So I am for vertical thinking as well as lateral thinking. I am for both of them. I am for both, because if we don't have both of them, how are we going to be able to live in harmony with nature? You know what I'm saying? How are you going to be able to live in harmony with nature? I am for both. I support that. But what I refuse to be a science zealot, because a science zealot is just as bad as a religious person, as a religious zealot. I refuse to be that. I refuse to be a science zealot. I'm not going to sit there and just be a scientific radical. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to say, well, I'm just going to totally rely on science and forget about culture and forget about philosophy. No, that's the wrong way to approach things. That's the wrong way to approach it. That's the wrong attitude to have. You can't take that away from people. You cannot take that away. You can't take away people's interpretation of understanding nature. You can't do that. Just because you may not know how to interpret something or you don't like the interpretation doesn't mean that it gives you the right to take that away from them. It does not give you the right to do that. That's not fair. We entitled to interpret nature how we want to interpret nature. We entitled to do that. We entitled to understand science in our own way. We entitled to do that. You cannot take that away from us. It's not right. You know what I'm saying? If you want people to get scientifically involved, that's great. But if you tell them that do not use interpretation of explaining nature, then you're taking away their interest. You're taking away their interest in learning about science. You're making people just turn away, because as I was telling Ankh, and the brother Kent got it, but brother Ankh didn't get it. Brother Kent understood what I was coming from when I was saying it, but brother Ankh did not get it. We are a people that are very creative in our thoughts. Okay, we like to visualize things. We are very symbolic people. I'm not saying no other cultures like that, but we are. We are very we like to use symbolism. Okay, let me give you an example. Those who are in Ifa, if anybody that's in the Ifa tradition, okay, if you know it's about Ifa, right, and you know about the little they have this little thing on the ground, right? They have the shells, and those shells represent what? Numbers, calculation. So those shells represent math. Okay? Those that are initiated into the Ephi. So the people that are into the Ephi tradition, they very in tune with nature. Okay? That's their connection. We can't take that away from them. Now, should they study science? Yes, absolutely. We should study science. We should study all forms of it. We should study everything about science, but we can't take away people's interpretation. We can't do that. That's wrong. African are cosmic. We see the kernel to the husk from the inside out. Trying to apply spiritual virtue to materialism, it is called squaring the circle. The European sees from the husk inward. Exactly. And we're going to always use interpretation regardless. Now, he is right about Phil Valentine and Bobby Hemming. I mean, I like Bobby Hemming. I think I understood what Bobby Hemming was trying to do. I think he's very entertaining. So I like Bobby Hemming because he's funny as hell. I ain't going to lie. But I understood what he was trying to do. He was trying to use psychology in the sense of metaphysics. Okay, so he was trying to get people to see things from the allegorical standpoint, but he did come off as very pseudo with his knowledge, but still he was trying to get people to see things from allegorical standpoint to help them to understand. But Bobby Hemming is funny as hell. I like Bobby Hemming. You know what I'm saying? If I want to be entertained, I'm gonna watch Bobby Hemming. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna sit here and look down on my people. You know what I mean? Because they didn't have the correct information. I mean, I'm not a fan of Dr. Phil Valentine. You know, Dr. Phil Valentine was wrong about a lot of things. But and also Dr. Ben, he was wrong about a lot of stuff too, or certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it's up to us as a people to correct those information. Whatever our elders got wrong, we're not gonna sit here and discredit them. We're not gonna look down on them. You know what I mean? Oh, but I want to give you guys something. I suggested this before. Please check out this book right here. It's called The Beginnings of Western Science. So those of you who don't believe that Western science exists, it does. So check this book out right here. It's by David C. Lindbergh. Okay, check this book out, please. Western Science, The Beginning of Western Science. Also check out this book. It's called The History of Philosophy by A.C. Grayling. History of Philosophy by A.C. Grayling. And also check out this book, Evolution, the Human Story by Dr. Alice Roberts. Evolution, the Human Story by Dr. Alice Roberts. Okay, check it out. Okay. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. And also, what are other books? And also check out this brother's book as well. African Creation Energy, Ptah Technology. Okay, he does a phenomenal job. Yeah. What about the Moors, brother? What about the Moors? Yes, I am a bibliophile. I love books. I collect books. I got so many books right now, and I haven't even read them all. But I gotta get back into the habit of reading more books. I really got to. So, and this book right here is The Nine Ether Re-Engineering. Also, this is the Supreme Mathematic African Ma'at Magic. Okay, so you guys need to check these books out. And I'm gonna also give you guys his channel. Yep, The History of Western Science. Yes, sir. All right, so you guys also check out this channel right here, the African Creation Energy channel. Okay, so this the books I just showed you guys. This brother, excuse me. Yeah, the books I just showed you guys, that brother rent all 3 of these books right here. He got some more books, but he was at one point in time, he was affiliated with the Nuwapians at one point in time, but actually he started off as a Muslim. So, but he was heavily affiliated with the Nuwapians. However, the brother has a degree in engineering. So he deals with engineering, and he's when I say he's very scientific, he has a very scientific knowledge. So please check out his channel. As a matter of fact, one of the videos I had him on the platform, we was talking about the proto-science and ethnoscience and the mark creation, criteria, etc. We was having a conversation about that. So you guys should check out his channel. All right. So in this video, he talked about the evolution of science from ancient science to proto-science and modern science. This brother right here. So you guys, if y'all really want to get a better understanding about science or whatnot, I would suggest you guys to check out his channel because he does a good job at breaking things down. Okay. Yep. All righty then. Woo, child. Lord have mercy. So, okay, well, I have a bit over 300 books, and I teach here in St. Lucia. I have some good books for you. Okay, brother, well, just reach out to me on Facebook. You got me on Facebook. I think we Facebook friends. Yes, we are Facebook friends. So just go ahead and reach out to me on Facebook and reach out to me in the inbox and, send me the list of books that you have and we can go from there. Okay, we can go from there. We can read from there. All right. We can do that. So, but you guys, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here because I'm not trying to stay on here any longer. I've been on here for about 3 hours and that was not the intention. But thank you all in the chat for coming through and watching and being entertained. And wait a minute, let me see. This dude right here is something else. Vinyasa something else. But thank you all for coming on here, being in the chat. Thank you for being entertained by the conversation. Thank you for your comments. And yeah, thank you for the comments and thank you guys for, just for your presence. I like this. I like the fact that we are connecting and that's that. So it's 12:47 on my time, 12:47 a.m. Okay. Everybody's time zone is different. But with that being said, you guys take it easy. Please be safe and be careful. We're still in this pandemic. So COVID hasn't went anywhere. So please be careful of COVID. Yeah, be careful. Do whatever you can. Make sure you wear your mask or whatever. I would encourage you guys to get vaccinated, but there are those of you who don't believe in vaccine, and I understand that. But yeah, I encourage that. I'm all for integrative medicine, so I believe that we should not only practice conventional medicine, but also contemporary medicine. I mean, not contemporary. Was it complementary medicine as well? So yeah, so I believe in conventional and complementary medicine. Those things work out for each other. So that's where I stand. But yeah, let me go ahead and enjoy the rest of my night. Go ahead and give me some rest. With that being said, peace and power, elevation be to all of you. Thank you guys for coming through. Okay, well, that's fine, brother. If you don't have to. I mean, that's your, I say encourage. I'm not saying you have to. I would encourage. But that's your choice. You have that right. Okay, you have that right to. But be safe, y'all, for real. All right, but yeah, that's it. I'm finna go ahead and log off of here. Thank you guys for watching my channel. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, share my channel. Yeah, hit the notification bell, share my channel, comment, like, all that great stuff. And I will keep you guys posted. Until then, peace and power, elevation be to all of you. This your girl, Tiffany. And I am getting ready to log out. All right. Thank you.